This is episode 238 of How About That Cigar, recorded live at the Corona Cigar Studio. On this episode, we talk to Will Cooper and Mike Szczepankiewicz about the upcoming 2024 PCA Trade Show and much more. Please take a minute to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Now on with the show.
Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 238 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on X, live on Instagram.
And whatever else is out there.
And
We're
whatever.
fucking doing them all.
A reminder to our wonderful viewers on Instagram, take a minute, join us over on Facebook and YouTube, because even though you can watch on Instagram, you cannot... we can't see your comments. So if you have comments or questions, be sure to come over to YouTube or Facebook so you can interact with us while you're on the show. Join us in the comments. Let us know what you're smoking and drinking along with us while you're watching the show this evening. And for our audio podcast listeners, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. That is much appreciated. So
tonight, in honor of our two guests, I am changing my name. It's going to be Raul Garrett Julia for the show. The king is on, and we got the coop.
Yeah.
We're burning. We're burning tonight. I ain't saying what we're burning, but
there's a lot of things on fire.
Yes.
But speaking of fire,
let's talk about the free agency in fantasy. Oh, we got to get Justin.
Speaking of fire, we got to get Justin on the show.
Wait, did you say I was fired?
You are not fired.
Oh, okay.
You are not fired.
I was gonna pack up my shit and go. So,
no,
sorry.
no.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
we couldn't live without you, brother.
We're not burning that bridge yet.
No, not
yet.
No,
okay.
There's no yet. We're not burning that bridge.
Got it.
Period. End of statement.
Got it. I just want to make sure I got the memo. I didn't get the memo ahead of time, so I got it now.
You got it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I know, Justin. I know you've been
canceled.
You could get canceled.
Ooh. We could all get canceled.
Oh,
this show might get us fucking canceled.
Tonight might get this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I know, of course, Justin, being a huge sports fan that you are, you've been closely following the free agent frenzy in
in between
the NFL.
Working 45 plus hours on one job, 30 plus hours of the other job.
Yeah.
Everything I got out in between.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. I got you.
Problem.
You can listen to it for the drive back and forth.
No, that's when I smoke cigars and relax.
There you go.
Yep.
That's why you got all your pictures of cigars.
I'm literally driving to work to my other job and then driving home from the other job, smoking a cigar every day. That's when I get to smoke.
All right. Somebody, so if you got any violins, just play them for us.
Yeah.
So, NFL, everything. Basically, if you thought you knew your team last
You didn't
week,
know shit.
you have no idea who's on your team this week. There's so many changes.
I hate to be an asshole, but no, I don't hate being
I was
an
going to
asshole.
say, you better rewind that and think what you just said.
Did I not tell you that Aaron Jones was going to be a Viking?
You're not the only one that told me that. I did not see it coming. I did not expect him to land in Minnesota. But I will say this, after a lot more reflection and listening to some sort of NFL quote unquote experts and whatnot talk about the whole, us getting Jacobs and losing Aaron Jones, I'll be honest, and I'm not just being a positivity homer, but I really think we got the better end of the deal for a lot of different reasons. I'm not going to go into them all tonight because we have a lot of cool stuff coming up, but I think we got the better end of the deal. So Green Bay, all day.
You were not saying that last week.
I was not. Well, because I really do like Aaron Jones, and I am going to miss him being a part of the team because he has a very positive influence on the team. But I am going to miss him. But in the long run, just from a player perspective and a team perspective, I think we got the better end of the deal. We'll see how it goes.
You got a 26-year-old running back compared to a 50-year-old running back we got.
Well,
or the Vikings got, I should say.
No, 29. So Aaron Jones is 29.
He'll be 30 by season.
Jacobs is 25.
He'll be 26 by season.
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
We got BDP in the house and stuffing.
BDP. Oh.
What's up, Mike Palmer? How you doing? Let me introduce myself. I'm Raul Julia. How you doing?
Raul Julia. So the Twins are still looking pretty good in spring training. And I got to also shout out to Colorado Rockies have a young up and coming relief pitcher, Seth Halverson. And this is a young man that I knew from when he was a young boy growing up. He's the son of a pastor friend of mine. And he has worked his way up through, the layers of the minor leagues, and he's looking really solid as a relief pitcher. And this could be his year to finally, make it into,
that'd be awesome.
The big show. So it's been exciting to see that progression. Timberwolves are in a tight race. They're in third place, but it's really those top three spots. It's anybody's game who's going to take that top spot at the end of the season. The Wilds, it's pretty much, they would basically have to win out. I think they could maybe lose one more game and still make the playoffs. But it's pretty much done for.
Well, let's really talk about the tourney, basketball tourney, best tourney of the year.
Oh, March Madness.
Madness is starting.
I honestly, I haven't even dug into the brackets or looked at who's going to be contenders this year. I really haven't. I've been so focused on baseball spring training that that and a little bit of Timberwolves that sort of just in the last 6 months sort of come back into watching basketball again. Plus the Frozen Four hockey tournament. Yeah. The actual bracket starts in 2 or 3 days. Minnesota is currently ranked 6th in the college hockey playoffs.
See him? Thanks for watching my movies, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Raul Julia has been in some pretty phenomenal movies. The Addams
and he's
Family.
a hell of a cigar smoker too.
Oh, absolutely.
Cigar advocate.
Absolutely. So before we introduce our fantastic special guests on this show this evening, I think we need to get started, as we always do, with the spirit of mystery. Should we do? And it's Japanese Whiskey Month.
Yep.
So this is
last one.
This is another Japanese whiskey. So this is the spirit of mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. All right, Japanese Whiskey Month. Yes. And this is the 3rd Japanese whiskey.
And the last.
Yeah, because we got PCA next week. So this one smells
like Famunda?
Wonderful. No, it smells great. It's like really Famunda? Similar to the other Japanese whiskeys. It's got that light kind of citrusy vanilla kind of aroma.
I think that's most of their whiskeys are lighter rather than here.
And Martin in the house.
Oh, nice. Ooh. Yeah, that's a good whiskey. This one seems like it might be a little higher proof than the other ones.
A little bit more of a bite.
A little bit more of it's not harsh, but it's got a little bit more punch to it. But that's a really nice whiskey. So I'm going to keep drinking it and try to figure out maybe what this might be. And we're going to reveal the spirit of mystery later on in the show. Speaking of the show, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this going. Let's get our special guests on the show, and special guests on How About That Cigar, always brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And the latest Freestyle Live event pack. Oh, well, they revealed it already, but we're gonna say this because
anyway.
So this is now going to be the blackened M81 Shades of Black, I think is what it's called.
It's M something else, though, I believe. It's not the M81.
Yeah, I really should have been prepared for this, but I didn't get any of the new ad stuff. So
I'm sure Cooper posted.
But
you were too busy working on a new gear.
Yeah, new gear. So, but Drew Estates, the new Freestyle Live event pack was revealed on the 14th, and it is basically a Connecticut shade variation of the M81 blackened by Drew Estate and blackened American whiskey.
S84 shade to black.
There we go. See, Justin is
That's why he's our producer.
That's why he's our producer. That's why he sits in that chair and earns the big bucks. Just like we all earn the big bucks here, right?
Yeah.
Is that
loaded.
right?
Fucking loaded.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you would please put your hands together and help us welcome to episode 238 of How About That Cigar Live. First of all, from Cigar Coop, Will Cooper. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me back on. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. And from Cigar Hustler and Postania Cigars, Mike Szczepankiewicz. Welcome back to the show, brother.
We got the legend and the king on.
S84 sounds like an SPF, like a sunblock or some shit. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, and that's a shade 2 bucks. Shade 2 bucks.
It prevents cancer.
Yeah.
Which I got the name wrong. I got that name wrong 3 times, by the way, just so you know. So.
Oh, right on. That's okay.
I didn't
even have the right ad.
Matt didn't get it at all. So
yeah,
you're just like up.
We're out of the game, buddy.
We're already burning bridges. Let's do it.
I still had the non-reveal ad ready to go. That's how prepared I am for tonight.
All right, you're excited for things to come.
I am, absolutely.
What are you smoking over there, Justin?
Me? Well, Mike, don't kill me, but I didn't have any Postania left, so I had to go with the Drew Estate.
I could have hooked you up.
Yeah, well,
you're next.
My fabulous boss over here, named Matt, didn't give me a Postania, so we're going with Undercrown 10.
I'll get you.
What are you smoking?
Opus 6 or Squirrel.
Whoa! I wouldn't expect anything different, Coop.
Man.
And
I am smoking that beautiful thing right there, a War Bear.
Unranked on How About That Cigar?
Unranked.
Yeah. Acknowledge.
Hold on.
Oh, not yet?
Can we find out what our guest is smoking?
Oh, of
Mike,
course.
what are you smoking?
Mike, what are you smoking?
You got to toast that first.
I'm smoking the new Justice. Damn.
Oh.
They name it after you, Justin?
Justice.
No.
Oh, my bad.
It's after his son.
It's after his
that's
son.
right. It's kind of same. Oh.
Yeah, he kind of messed that one
What are you
up.
going to toast?
Thanks, Garrett.
So the old oldie but a goodie.
Oldie but a
Postania broadleaf.
Ooh.
Oh.
And by oldie but goodie, I mean this is from an OG box.
That's the
from
original
2015.
band right there.
Yeah. So, and I think this is the last one. I'm pretty sure this is the last one.
That thing's got to be 10 years old, bro.
It's it's got a little what we say sometimes, it's got a little bit of age on it. So it's time for me to toast my cigar, and I'm going to do that on the Cigar Toast Cam.
This
cigar. Yeah. Cigar is the leading cigar accessory brand with innovative butane lighters, precision cutting cigar instruments, travel cases, and humidors. Each product is designed and manufactured with utmost precision and attention to detail. The result is a range of products that exude quality and refinement, reflecting the brand's dedication to excellence. For more information, please visit Zycar.com. And we're all toasted up, ready
I
to
tried to
go.
lean and blow in your ear, but I forgot you got a headset on.
No, I got a headset. I wouldn't have been able to notice.
Look at all the bling Matt's got on, too, with his fucking
The
gold
bling?
watch.
What bling do I have on?
Right there.
That's my watch. I got that watch on my
Brought
honeymoon.
to you by
It's brought to you by.
Rolex.
Citizen.
It's not even an expensive watch.
Citizen or a Seiko?
It's a Seiko.
Yeah.
It's a lovely watch, man. It's a lovely
I
watch.
appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right, gentlemen. 4 days away from the PCA Trade Show. Well, 5 days away from the PCA Trade Show. And this one is, there's some differences this year, but also a lot of similarities. So I want to jump in here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, as always, if our viewers have any questions, please throw them up there, and we'll get asking those as well. First and foremost, I want to get your guys' take. Does it matter to you whether it's at the the Venetian Expo Center or the Las Vegas Convention Center? Does it matter to you guys? Mike, let's start with you.
Yeah, it matters to me. It matters to me because my shit gets stolen at the Sands, not at the Sands Expo, at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and I don't get anything stolen at the Sands Convention Center. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit more dumpy by being at the convention center, and it's more convenient by being at the Sands. So especially if you're staying at the Venetian, you can just kind of walk right down. So yeah, I think that there's a significant difference in quality, and I don't know if it costs more. It probably does by doing it at the Sands, but it's all still atrociously expensive. But I would say that if I had to choose, I would definitely pick the Sands for sure.
Okay. Coop, what do you think?
No difference for me, but I don't stay on the Strip. If I was staying on the Strip, I probably would say there's a difference. But since I don't stay on the Strip, there really isn't much of a difference. In fact, if depending on the parking situation is, if it was like a few years ago, I can go back and forth in my car even on the trade show floor. It's that close. So I don't know if it's going to be like that this time with the Central Hall, but if it is, it actually is better for me as opposed to going down into the Palazzo garage.
I had a really nice speaker, man. It was beautiful. It was one of those big ones. It was jacked.
Coop, does it matter to you on how you set up your day, like your interviews or anything like that, depending on which one is that, or it's pretty much squared away either way?
It's squared away either way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's once you get on the floor, it doesn't really. I mean, again, for a media person, I don't think it matters. For a manufacturer, it could matter because different people are setting up the hall. So I don't want to speak for everyone. I'm just saying for me, it doesn't.
Yeah. And that Central Hall is nicer than the other, like
that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's nicer.
Yeah, but if you forget something at the Sands, you can go back to the hotel room and get it.
Well, depending on where you're staying for PCA coming up in a few days, it's the same way. So if you're staying at the Westgate, then it's just a walk to the Westgate right indoors the whole time. But if you're staying at Resorts World, it's a different story. If you're staying, because there's a number of different quote unquote host hotels this year.
Who's staying at the Westgate?
Yeah,
we are.
I'm sorry.
Well, the last time I stayed at the Westgate for a trade show was 2018, and from what I understand, the entire facility has gone through a major renovation that started in late 2019 and finished in early 2023. From what
we'll let you know how it is.
Yeah. All right, keep it posted.
We'll let you know.
Do the after show.
I might, if you got room or extra room over where you're at, I might even come over that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a bunch of people just crashing in our room. So
Mike, though, the convenience of being in the Venetian, it backfired on us about 2 years ago when we left the camera batteries at the compound, and we had to go back. Some of us had to go back and get those camera batteries in the middle of the trade show. That's where it did backfire on us. So I understand the convenience of being all in one place. Trust me. Yeah.
Well, and staying off strip at a Airbnb or something like that really can. I mean, it's great because it gives you a lot more flexibility in what kind of place you want to stay at, and if you want to have, an outdoor gathering area for cigar smoking and camaraderie and that kind of thing. But yeah, if you forget something, that's a half-day trip.
Oh yeah, it was but 2 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, did you go to TPE this year?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I skipped it. I mean, it didn't make sense with PCA being so close, and I feel like the majority of the cigar industry felt the same way. From what I heard, it was kind of dead.
A lot of people had time. A lot of people had time there. So
we did not hear good things about the premium cigar portion of the TPE this year.
Yeah.
But timing wise, most places said the same thing that we did. And I'm talking whether they're media or brand or retailer. They're like, why am I going to go to TPE to either sell premium cigars, buy premium cigars, or cover premium cigars when PCA is in
2 months,
7 weeks?
Yeah.
So it just didn't make sense to anybody.
Yeah, I totally agree. The one thing that you can say is if you did go, maybe you made that one connection with somebody, a retailer or manufacturer, brand owner, and it only takes one. So that could propel into a lifetime worth of friendship and business. So, hopefully that happened for some people. It was just highly unlikely. Who was the ZZ Top guy was there though, or something. So yeah,
a lot of people had time to go see him. By the way, I noticed at that show. A lot of reps had plenty of time to go see him. So reps
exactly. They're not writing orders. They're going to get a picture orders, that's for sure. Mike Tyson or ZZ Top or whoever. Yeah. So yeah, venue wise, I really don't. If when we're talking about Las Vegas in general, there and if you've anybody who's ever spent time like in sort of the corporate or professional world at conventions in Las Vegas, there are so many massive and really great convention spaces in Las Vegas, and really for the most part, they're all the same. I mean, there are some amenities that are available at some that are not available at others, but they really are the same for the most part. You know, they're massive spaces with extremely high ceilings and great ventilation and all the electrical and all that stuff you could ever need. For most people, I don't know if it really matters whether it's Venetian or Las Vegas convention. It just doesn't matter, I don't think.
Well, we're a relatively small convention when you look at some of the other ones, like
Cigars, yeah, absolutely.
Builders, which I've been to both of those, right? They're much bigger than ours. But ours is a relatively small one.
Yeah.
I think he's out.
Yeah, the fact that we can have basically the whole convention in the central hall of the Las Vegas Convention Center, and there's not it's not packed in there super tight. There's extra space, there's extra room, all that food court area in the back and the seating and all that stuff. Other conventions usually are packed in with twice as many people in the same physical space, and like you're walking around like sardines the whole time. If you've been to a software convention in Vegas, especially from a big time player like Microsoft or somebody like that, it's insane. I mean, it's almost like Mardi Gras. You can barely walk through the aisles. It's so packed.
Perfect lead up.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of next year's venue? What do you think about New Orleans?
Do you want me to go first?
Mike, go ahead. Mike, go first.
Look, man, anything's better than Vegas, dude. I'm over Vegas. I can't stand Vegas. It's so fucking far away. It's such a time suck. I gotta arrive early. I gotta leave. I gotta leave a day later. It's just too much, man. I'm for anywhere, somewhere, middle of the fucking earth or east, whatever. Yes, and the food's better in Louisiana, anyways. So, like, you get real food. Like some actual stuff, instead of some made up shit by some chef who doesn't give a shit and they're just trying to move the table and it's $110 for a cheeseburger. So, like I'm for it. Yes, it's going to be spread out and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But you know what? Kudos to PCA for making a change, for trying something, even though we've done it before. I'm glad it's not in Vegas. Texas, I think, would be another great place to go. It's right in the middle. So.
What about you, Coop? What do you think about next year's venue?
The 2015 show was terrible there, so I don't have good memories of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the better trade shows. That being said, I'm kind of with Mike on this. I'm over Vegas at this point too. It's expensive, and I don't really. I don't dig the vibe in Vegas anymore. Maybe I'm getting older. But the thing that I think the PCA is going to have to do is they're going to have to sell the industry on that they can put on a really good trade show in New Orleans, because the past history, for those who remember, knows it was not a good trade show. I have confidence in the people who are in place now to do that. So we'll see what happens. But they got some work to do.
Okay, so was anybody else at that trade show other than me and Coop?
No, that was my first trade show was 16.
Okay, so listen, Matt Booth got wasted and disappeared and found himself in a bush or some shit somewhere. Okay, so if something like that is going to happen, it's going to happen there. And I'm really looking forward for somebody to lose their mind and be like, "Oh my God, did he lose his wallet? Did he get did he get robbed?" I mean, come on, these things won't happen in Vegas. This stuff happens in New Orleans. So
wasn't that when Rocky tried to buy out the bar one night and just make it no smoking? I think that was in New Orleans that happened also that year.
I think so too. So yeah, man, there's more excitement there. Come on, bring on the
there is some good story. but it is a logistical, it's not logistically great. I would love to get out of Vegas too. It's just logistically, I don't think New Orleans is great. Let's see what the PCA does with it. I know they have some ideas they've thrown around.
What do you think about the second venue that came up, going to Florida?
Where in Florida?
Doesn't matter. Sign me
doesn't
up.
matter.
Yeah,
Florida.
it could be
Ybor City,
Orlando, it could be Tampa, it could be Miami.
I'm all for Florida. I would personally prefer to see it in Tampa over Orlando, just because Orlando is not a smoke-friendly city. So, Miami's crazy. Miami's busy as shit, and there's definitely more chaos there. I mean, if it want to be Miami too, if I had to pick the order, I would say Tampa, Miami, then Orlando, just because the options in Orlando are so limited.
The venue's good in Orlando. The convention center was great, but
yes,
it was again, the logistics around it were not great.
Yeah, and
you're from there. You're from the backyard of that, so I understand that.
And to be honest, I'm not welcome at the big retail shops in Orlando, anyways. So I couldn't go to the after parties.
Well, Tony says, Mike, we should have it at your house.
Bring it on, man. We'll get a lot.
That's a good idea, actually.
I'll smoke a couple pork butts.
I love it.
Fantastic.
I'm liking that. The mansion.
I'm there. Actually, I'm going to show up a little early, so I'll be there tomorrow.
Bring it on,
for the 2027 trade show. I'll be there tomorrow.
Stay there the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Hey, scary part is at this current moment, I have a guest bedroom in my house, so nice. you could just move right in.
Okay.
Like the problem with having a guest bedroom that's vacant is it's not vacant for very long. Somebody finds their way in, and I welcome you, Matt. I could sit in for every HBTC at that point. I'm just like, I
love it. It's fantastic.
Another thing is, I'll jump this one. The time of year. What do you guys think? Usually in Minnesota, it's freezing up here, so we look forward to going to Vegas in March just to warm up. But it's been beautiful here. What are you guys thinking about moving the months?
Sucks. Completely sucks. I mean, when Pro Cigar could go into this, I'm glad I cut some of the other events out this year. And in year end before that, but I understand why they did it. They didn't do it for me. They did it, as a whole of the industry, this is what the industry wanted. So they got it. I mean, so it got some of the big four back. So I get it. But I personally don't like it. I think if next year is going to be better in April, I think that little more of a break we'll have in April will be good. But March was just too early.
So real quick before Mike answers this question, Coop, I sent you a text, but I don't know if you saw it yet, but take a second, Coop, and go into your settings on in StreamYard and make sure the microphone that it's using is your headset microphone and not your computer microphone. I think you're coming through your computer microphone, which doesn't sound bad, but I know your headset microphone sounds an awful lot better.
It's coming through the computer. I'll fix that right now.
Yeah, no worries. All good.
Good ears, bro.
All right, Mike, time of year. Does it matter to you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're asking Brett Fry Tobacology, he's not happy about the fact that it's in March. especially about the March Madness bullshit's going on in Vegas. So things are going to be chaotic there. For me personally, I'm kind of indifferent whether, this is the industry I'm in. So if you decide to do it in July, I'll be there. If you decide to do it in March, I'll be there. If you decide to do it in December, that's crazy, but I'll show up. I'll make it work. Other than that, it is what it is, bro. I'm down.
Yeah, if they ever want to see the lowest attended trade show in history, hold it in December 12th
through 15th.
Yeah, that would be.
You mean they'll beat 2019 or 2021?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is that better? I think I'm better now.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, sorry about that. Yep, it was set to the computer. Yep.
No, like I said, it didn't sound bad, but this is way better.
Yep. Mike, are you worried? At all about some of the shops not having enough funds to maybe bring in a boutique brand like yourself? Because usually end of summer they have a little more money in the cupboard, and they could spend more money.
Personally, I don't think that that's an issue. The reality is that a lot of retailers in this industry suck. And, if the real ones, the guys that are in it, invested, they'll figure out the way to put the money together. And if you believe in them and they don't have the funds, you'll make it work. Like, there are those situations. They exist. there's always shit going on, man. Everybody's always broke. There's people always don't have enough money. I get that. So, investing in your business is what's important to grow. I mean, David Garofalo, the #2 podcast of the cigar industry, he leveraged his house several times in order to make, to build his business. And he built a huge business because of that. So, I think that the bigger mistake that retailers make is they fall hook, line, and sinker for some of this 20% off bullshit when you spend 20, 30 G's, and now you're stuck with product that you can't move. That's a bigger problem that they do. Instead of spending $2,500 for me as a smaller boutique that you can invest with and grow with. So, no, realistically, if you're a real retailer, you'll figure it out. If you're just kind of in it for, shits and giggles and just to have a toy to play with, then you're going to bitch about it.
Or a write-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Brett's a real one, and he'll bitch about it, but but again, Brett's my guy. So if he's in a bind, we'll figure it out, man. I'm with him 100%. So
yeah, he's a hell of a dude.
Absolutely.
I like Jay Davis said mid-February in Duluth, Minnesota for the PCA Trade Show.
I have an appointment with Jay Davis this year. I've been waiting years for this appointment, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited.
You finally made it to the big time. You have an appointment with Blue Smoke of Dallas.
I broke him.
That is so cool.
It wouldn't go away.
Well, Lee Marsh from Stolen Throne Cigar is a great comment. Timing doesn't, how you conduct business does. Mm-hmm. I love that. It's it's really we've said it so many times, people probably get sick of hearing it, but this business, every business is about relationships, but the cigar business is even more so about relationships and just, building them, maintaining them. And that's, it's so important.
It's so true, man. I can't be in every state 24/7. I refuse to travel a ton. Right. So when I do an event, I'm normally in and out. I will go to the place that says, hey, I believe in you and I want to support you. And I'm like, all right, cool. Because I'll be there at 5:00 when the event starts. And then when it ends, I'm on the next flight the next morning to get the hell out of Dodge. So I don't miss anything with my family. Right.
Yeah.
And so I count on those guys to build those relationships and to continue that whole thing. So you're 100% correct. And with that being said, too, when I do those things, normally you meet somebody, you lock in with particular consumers and employees and, all these other things where everything grows. So, the relationships are so important in this industry. So important.
Well, and so now I'm going to jump the gun into what I consider, and we'll have more questions after this, but I'm going to jump the gun into what I consider to be the most important question about PCA 2024.
Where are we going to eat?
And where are we going to eat? That's definitely important, but this one is really, and I base this question off of this recent press release, because this was honestly, I swear to you, the first thing that came to mind when I saw this press release on Cigar Coop and other sites. So this year at the PCA Trade Show, is Caldwell Cigars booth going to be neat and tidy now because he has an ownership group, or is it going to be the same as it has been for the last few years? I mean, that's the most important question about PCA 2024.
I'm betting it's going to be a shit show.
So Coop, what do you think?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to say no, but the PCA's let Caldwell do that the last few years. Shame on them. Yeah. Shame on the PCA with that one.
So you don't think? Well, I guess it's a twofold question. Do you think his new parent company is going to ask him to clean things up a little bit, and he's just going to say no, I'm going to be me, or do you think they're not even going to bother asking him?
I think they're going to let him be who he is, but I just have a feeling that there's no need for him to do that now at this point. That's just my feeling. It's now he's part of the bigger picture with this. So I'm going to just kind of take the road saying I don't think they need to do that with him. So,
okay.
Yep.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, I mean, how do you acquire somebody and tell them that they got to be something different?
Something different. That's a good point.
That makes no sense. Hey, so right,
exactly. Yeah, it's culture. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got to be himself, and I don't know. Like, I always got a laugh out of the shit that he did. I thought it was always fun. So, you know, and like he expresses his discontent with things. And you know what? I'm okay with somebody being pissed off. I would much rather somebody be pissed off and want change than somebody be complacent about something and just take it, you know? So I'm okay with it. Bring on the rage, dude. Whatever, you know, like that's fine. Buy the tables at Walmart and then return it afterwards. I fucking died laughing. I thought that was hilarious.
Cigars are a luxury item. That's what I keep hearing, and that's what we see. Okay.
Cigars, well, and that's a good segue into Jay's comment. And when we had kind of this was going to be on the docket of questions, kind of about the whole pricing, you know, thing that we've seen the pricing, you know, kind of. If I'm being honest, just using like. Unglorified terms, pricing has gone batshit crazy in the last few years, in my personal opinion. So Jay phrases this really well. The most important, whether I should buy the Vartan cigar for $98, the new Monty for $150, or I can get the Stolen Throne Anniversary for $20, or the Postania Connecticut for $15.
Not acknowledged.
It's a bad question, Jay. It's because they're not the same audiences. That's why I would not. That's why I don't think the question is valid.
So, I agree with you from a little bit, Coop, but I'll challenge you on this aspect. And I'm talking about cigar brands whose most expensive cigar for years and years was, I'll say $18, even $20.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden in the last 3 years, and I'm not going to name any of them, but some of these same brands now, for the last 3 years, all of a sudden their most expensive cigar is $48. It's $68. It's $98. It just seems, as a consumer, it seems a little strange to me that we're just suddenly seeing this sort of push for, it's almost like a competition who can put the most expensive price tag on a cigar.
See, I don't look at it like that, though. I look at it that these companies are going into a segment, which I've been calling the Rob Report cigars. They're going into a luxury segment like Rolexes, right? Like Ferraris in. You know, they're going into this which is not the audience that was buying that $18 cigar. They're not trying to take the $18 cigar buyer and put them into that audience. They're going into that audience. And I think it's a brilliant move to do it. And if you're trying to compare that, now, if you want to complain about the company that was selling $8 cigars and now they're selling $18 cigars, that's a different story. But I think these cigars that we're talking about, they're not meant for the folks who they're a different audience they're meant for.
Mike, I'll buy it. Mike Palmer, I'll buy your cigar for $750.
BDP 2, $750.
It's $750.
$750.
Yeah, just don't make it $15. Just don't make it $15. If that becomes $15, then I think that's where I would say, okay, why is this now suddenly $15 when it was $750 a few years ago?
So Palmer, is that $750 per cigar, or is that $750 for a 10 count box?
Oh, that's 100% per
cigar. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, I appreciate the Rob Report term, you know, like Jason. I think I understand where you're coming from with that, and I want Mike to get in on this too, but here's my issue with that. And I look at the products that we enjoy in the premium cigar world. And when you look at a Ferrari versus a Ford Fiesta, and no shame to Ford Fiesta owners, I am a Ford Fiesta owner. I have no shame whatsoever about being a Ford Fiesta owner. That car costs nothing whatsoever to own. And it also costs very, very little to build, but it's not engineered very precisely. Yeah. And the people who build Ferraris, Ferrari is a Rob Report item. It's a Rob Report car, to sort of go into your analogy, Coop, versus a Ford Fiesta is not a Rob Report car. But, you know, it at their core, you know, we're still talking about a vehicle that has 4 wheels and a cabin for passengers and an internal combustion engine under the hood, but they are vastly different items in the way that they're engineered and built, where Ferraris are down to the most minutia of detail, perfectly sculpted, and the tolerances on the engines are But when you look at these premium hand-rolled cigars, yes, you do have premium hand-rolled cigars that still fit into the quote-unquote premium category as you know, as so defined, but there are differences in process of you know, acquiring the tobaccos, aging the tobaccos, rolling the tobaccos. But do those processes vary so vastly that one company is going to, you know, sell a cigar for $8 one year, and the very next year they're going to sell a cigar for $60? It seems very strange to me.
Is that tobacco so aged, or is it found in the mountain that we never knew about?
Those are the questions I have.
Did anyone? Okay, but did anyone complain when the Tatawai NFT cigar came out, which was a $13 cigar, and now I'm looking at it on websites for a box of 15 for $1,350 to $1,500?
Yeah, I
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but no one said a word about that. Everyone just kept quiet about that when that happened.
I'm not going to complain about that one way or another, and I'm not complaining about, you know, companies selling cigars for $48 or $100 or $250. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, I'm trying to point out the fact that, to me as a consumer who's been buying cigars for 27 years, that it's very strange to me to see such a jump in such a short period of time.
And Matt, there's total validity what you say, right? But look, this all got started when Habanos started doing what they were doing. And then I think this was a market reaction to a lot of it. I really do. And a lot of these companies said, we do better work than Habanos. We have better tobacco than Habanos. So why shouldn't we do it, right? I don't think they're taking anything away from the. I'm not disagreeing with you, Matt. I think you make a valid point when you talk about the factories, but I still don't think they're trying to take a product away from you that is in your price range. That's my point. They're offering something else. Maybe there's some better packaging with it or whatever. That's fine. But I'm just saying, I think they're not. I don't see any shortage of. The problem we've seen is our 750 cigars have gone up to like $12. That's what we're seeing. It's not, these other cigars are not affecting that.
Yeah, and if the supply of, you know, $10 to $20 cigars remains constant and quality remains high, I really don't. I hope this isn't coming across that I have a problem with people paying $65 for. I really don't.
Right.
I don't give a shit if somebody wants to spend $500 on a, you know, an Oro Blanco, or $600 now. I don't care. That's completely fine.
That's it.
But
yeah.
I want the. It's just been such a great, you know, we've really been in a great time in the last 12, 15 years with premium cigars, where quality has really gone up and availability and variety and things like that have gone up. But you know, when you look at pricing trends, they tend to have a more not such a vertical line on pricing trends. And this line, as of maybe 2019, 2020, just seems to have really taken a steep turn straight up almost. Mike, what do you think?
Ooh, I mean, first of all, you seem very angry. So, you know, probably just give him a hug or something. I don't know. He's very upset about the cigar price.
Everybody.
You know, the reality is that I don't think that it costs much to make a cigar. You know, yes, prices have gone up significantly for cost of manufacturing, right? That is true over the past 2-3 years. You know, I've seen them rise. So there's that, right? And you're right. I think the average cigar price is about $14 to $16, and that consumer is, you know, I know that you said that it's a luxury item, but those are your everyday cigar guys. Those are your guys that smoke every day, right? Or at least 2 or 3 times a week. You know, should you cater to that other market with a higher end cigar? Sure, why not? You know, if someone's going to pay for it, then let them pay for it. Is there going to be a significant difference? Maybe not. You know, the harder part for me is, and here's where I kind of struggle, is when you have these cigars that are in this price range and they're significantly higher and the quality is shit. The tobacco that they use is bad. You know, the whatever they add to it, you know, the taste is terrible. The pitch of what it is just so fucking 1990 that like no one's buying it. And it, like that's where I kind of fall. And I'm like, dude, you're like, look, I call people out on it. So, I'm like, this is terrible. I have a rep come in and, I'm like, here's why your cigar sucks. And this is why I don't like it. And this is why I think that you trying to sell it to me at $35 is a mistake. Now go tell your guys that this is why I think this is fucked up, and go do better so that I can take it on and say, hey, this is why I feel it's justifiable at $35 or $50 or $100, whatever the case may be, even if it's a limited run or small production or whatever, but it can't just be, well, now it's $100. Yeah. So that's where I fall short of it. I have no problem with it. At the end of the day, I like your analogy of your Ford Fiesta, that if it breaks down, you can just kind of throw it away, which I think is cute. And I'm glad that you owned that you have one of them. Like, here's a bigger perspective that you're not really covering. And I like to use this as the analogy. The Ford F-150, it's a great truck, right? Everybody loves it. MSRP on average is what, $35,000, $40,000. But if you buy the Raptor, it's $110,000. If you can't get it, it's $150,000. What the fuck is the difference? A twin turbo motor? I mean, that's it. There's no addition. There's nothing crazy about that fucking truck, but it's in high demand, right? Yeah. So to a point where you're going to pay 4x of a regular F-150 truck. So, it exists. It exists in every market. Kudos to the guys that can do it and pull it off. And, and giving some of these other guys that are selling $600 cigars a run for their fucking money, man. Because at the end of the day, I want to see competition in every avenue of this industry, because that's the only way that it gets better. So
and I agree with that completely. And I tend to get passionate about certain subjects, and I don't mean to come off as, that I'm, pissed off about expensive cigars or anything like that. I have personally purchased plenty of $40, $50, $80, $100 cigars. But somebody who, as somebody who works in, kind of a subset of IT, I do a lot of data analysis, and some of the stuff that I do, is based on vendor pricing trends and things like that. And the pricing trend in premium cigars has been it's been outside of the norm for the last 3 or 4 years. And as a consumer and somebody who wants to see consumers both informed and sort of given the best information possible to, make the most of this hobby. I think pricing is an important factor for most cigar smokers.
I agree. And listen, I'm only calling you angry because everybody calls me angry when I'm not. So, I'm just going to go ahead and bring that to
anger is passion.
No, I think I respect your point of view, Matt, on that. I think good for you on that, having that point of view. You're not burning bridges. You're not burning any bridges here.
No,
I may disagree with you on it, but you're not burning any bridges with me on it.
For the average working person, blue collar person, is that $100 cigar going to be so much better than an $18 cigar? Is it going to allow me?
Real quick, Mike, before you jump in, I'll say that it could be, because and depending on the occasion, like, is the blue collar person going to be buying $100 cigar as their everyday smoke? No. Of course not. But their daughter's getting married, or their son's getting married, or graduating from high school or something like that, or they're having a baby. Even me, having the means now to go in and buy a $100 cigar, I'm grateful for that. But years ago, having the means to go in, my first cigar was $10, and this was at a time that it was literally the most expensive cigar in the store. I think maybe there were 2 cigars more expensive than that in the shop when I bought that $10 cigar. I think the most expensive was $15, and maybe there was one for $17.50 or something like that. But it's like a special. That was my first cigar, and it's like I want it to be special. And then if your daughter's getting married, or you just got a new job or something, you will spend that extra money, but it's not going to be your everyday smoke.
But even saying that event is going to put that $18 cigar, make it taste twice as good just because it's tied to that event.
And that's part of sort of the experiential thing, is that you could buy a box of, where you get a a 20 count box of cigars for $250. And if the experience is good, if it's your daughter's wedding or your son's graduation, that cigar, as far as you're concerned, that cigar, you would have paid $100 for that cigar because the experience that surrounded it was so great.
Matt, there's a review I have coming out of a $100 cigar probably the next couple of days, and it didn't do well. Okay, it didn't do well. So it's not automatic. It's better, is what I'm saying. It's put to the test like anything else. So it happens. I mean, it's not an automatic in my book.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, two things. First of all, Matt, you're 100% correct. It depends, right? It absolutely depends. Not necessarily a good situation either. Nothing makes me happier than having a fucking sideways day and saying, you know what? I mean, I'd really like the cigar, but I'll go grab a Padron 50th Toro Maduro, right? Yeah. A $50 cigar. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm smoking this thing, right? And it is what it is. I'm just setting something on fire that was very expensive, and I feel good about that. So there's that. It doesn't have to be a particular great day.
I like it.
The other thing that really is kind of maddening to me in this industry is there are cigars that are $18 to $20 that aren't that fucking good anyways, but because they're marketed well, everybody's all over them. So I don't even want to hear it when somebody's like, well, this $100 cigar sucked. Like, well, the $18 one sucked too, buddy. But you believe that it's good, so you're going to smoke it anyways, and you're going to be a fucking fan. So, it's irrelevant, the price point. It's irrelevant, dude.
That's true. And we all go through as people, we go through stages in our life, from like my oldest just moved into their first apartment over the weekend. And you go through stages, where different financial abilities, and when you're young, it's like I can afford, to buy, a half pound of, ground beef at the grocery store and, a box of macaroni, and that's pretty much what I can afford, but I'm going to make the best thing I can out of that. Or I can, if you're going out, it's like, I can afford a burger from the burger truck, on the corner by my apartment. And that's about all I can afford. I can't afford to go to the nice place. And then gradually, as you go through life, hopefully you can get to a point where your ability to, maybe spend a little more money increases with each year that you're on the planet. That's what we hope for. And then we've all had these times where it's like you go someplace, and whether it's a meal or a cigar or a bottle of booze or your next car or whatever it is, you're like, I'm just going to buy this because I can, kind of because I just want to, because I want to treat myself. And that I think that's awesome. I've bought many expensive cigars just because I was like you said, Mike, what the hell? I want to light something expensive on fire. Or I buy a bottle of bourbon that's way too expensive. I'm like, I just want to drink something expensive. Right. Or take my wife out to an expensive dinner because I just want to take her out someplace expensive. But if I go to that restaurant and I spend $200 a plate, and the food isn't as good as the $8 burger truck on the corner by my apartment when I was 26 years old, then I'm going to be disappointed, in the outcome. And I try to put those same sort of goggles on when I'm, looking at, the cigars that we spend money on.
Okay. But you got to remember that you're an anomaly in this scenario, right? How many cigars do you consume a day?
5.
You smoke 5 cigars a day.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that you're pretty experienced when it comes to flavor profiles of cigars, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So your average consumer smokes what? 2 or 3 a week? If that?
If that.
Right. So is it safe to say that your average consumer might not be able to tell the significant difference between a really, really good cigar and just an okay cigar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's the bigger issue that's gone on in this industry since the dawn of time, is that your consumers, they haven't been well educated. Now they're getting better every year. I honestly believe that. I think that there's a lot of people out there that try their best to educate consumers, and kudos to all those people in the world. Now it's just like any other industry. It's just like your workout industries where you got 80% of the people feeding you this bullshit, right? And these magic pills and all this other stuff. And a lot of people believe in that stuff. And then you got the 20% of people that say, hey, look, no, that's not true. That's not accurate. And here's why. So, that's part of this. It's part of every industry. So, for somebody to pay the price is to pay the price. Yeah. And I saw somebody comment before that John said something like, well, packaging costs $1 on a cigar. Yeah. Sometimes it's more, dude, depending upon the production line and all those other things that, yeah, you're right. But you know what? Then again, I've also released cigars in bundles to keep the price down, and I've seen them flop. I've seen them not sell at the level that they should sell. But if I'd have packaged them differently, if I'd have put them in a fucking box and I charged an extra $2 for a cigar, they all would have sold. So, it's a catch-22, man. Where's the line? If you base it solely on educating consumers and having those consumers be your number one level of consumption, your overall rate, then you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle in this industry. There's a reason why Tyson just signed with Gurkha, right? There's a reason.
Yeah.
So, he didn't go out and say, hey, I want to find the smaller manufacturer that's fucking money, that's making unbelievable cigars, that's going through every single Pallone and making sure that everything that they bring to their factory is bar none. He said, no, I'm going to sign with these guys.
I think there was about 1.5 million reasons.
Yeah, probably. Right. Yeah. 1.5 reasons why. And it's undisputed. Right. But
it's undisputed. Yeah.
And I'm not knocking him for that. I'm not,
absolutely. I won't knock him or Gurkha for doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's that's, if you want to talk about a powerful brand ambassador and time will tell what kind of quote unquote brand ambassador he's going to be for this line of cigars.
He won't be one. This is a licensing deal, is my opinion.
Okay. So, but time will also tell whether or not consumers respond and whether or not these cigars are in bargain bins.
You know what?
2 weeks later.
At the end of the day,
he's still getting paid.
He already got his check.
But not even that, man. At the end of the day, he's one of the biggest faces in the entire world.
Absolutely.
Without question. So those type of people we need in this industry.
Absolutely.
More cigar consumers.
Yep.
Period.
I agree.
We need cigars to be undemonized.
Yeah.
They need to be accepted in our culture. And the only way that happens is guys like Tyson, Guy Fieri, these other dudes turn around and say, yeah, I smoke cigars. And here's my cigar.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bear and I were debating this last night. And that was my point is, I think everyone wants him to be Guy Fieri. That's not what this is about. But the fact, if you can get this guy's face on a cigar box.
Yeah.
And, okay, he's going to be at the show. He's going to be making an appearance at the show. Why not? Why wouldn't you do it? And hopefully they're working with the Artista Factory. It's a good cigar.
And the timing of it, I mean, the fact that I don't know if this was orchestrated or not, but the timing of it, the fact that he's got this fight coming up, this exhibition fight coming up. I mean, that's if that was just happenstance, that is one of the most fortunate timing things that ever could have happened to Gurkha Cigars.
Right.
Because, that's his, and he's notable. Mike Tyson's name is notable for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
But then you add in the fact that all over the world, not just in the United States.
Yeah.
And then you add in the fact that just in the last, little while, the buzz is starting to come up about this exhibition fight that he's going to have with this social media phenom and all this stuff. And even if only a handful of general non-cigar consumers, I'm talking people in the United States and even outside of the United States that really don't know or care anything about premium cigars, just happen to get a tiny little hint somewhere on social media because they were looking at something else about Mike Tyson, and somehow the story on Cigar Coop comes up about the undisputed cigar from Gurkha with Mike Tyson's endorsement. That's like sort of lightning in a bottle kind of, honestly, even if it's only a handful of non-cigar consumers. And like you said, Mike, and I agree 100%. Same thing with Guy Fieri when Knuckle Sandwich launched and is continuing to have great success. that kind of publicity for sort of quote unquote regular people, big time celebrities that are known for something else. They're known for, being a great chef, or they're known for being a cooking, show phenom, or they're known for being one of the best boxers of all time, or Chaz Palminteri being, a great actor and a great writer and producer, putting their name in front of a premium cigar and putting their name on that box. It's such a big deal for the premium cigar industry to see those names out there. It's like, oh, I love that guy's movies. I didn't know he was a cigar guy. I love to watch Mike Tyson box. I didn't know he was a cigar guy or whatever. It's almost invaluable for the image, quote unquote, of the premium cigar world to non-cigar smokers.
Matt, we could always argue, will these be a success? And that's a fair thing, because we do know the track record of a lot of these. So that's something we could fairly judge. But I think at the same time, I think this is not a bad thing for our industry at all. I think it's a good thing for the industry.
Yeah, definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
MSRP $110 a stick.
I honestly don't remember what the MSRP of the
19. Yeah,
so
it's on Cigar Coop. It's on Cigar. Pricing is on Cigar Coop, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, really that's kind of falling in line with a lot of releases in the last few years, in that $15 to $20 range.
Yeah. It's, you look at, I'm sure they have to pay homage to Caesar with that licensing deal. So
of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
Am I smoking this to say, wow, Mike Tyson selected the, Lajero, and no, that's not why I'm smoking it. I want to see if this is a cigar that will connect with other people who are going to maybe pick up that cigar. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Pick up that hobby.
That's
right. Yeah.
So
if it's a good cigar and it gets someone into cigars, that's a win there. Yeah.
I like this comment from Miguel. Unfortunately, most geeks, and I think he means cigar geeks, think they aren't very good cigars, because sometimes if you get a celebrity name on a cigar, the like super intense cigar nerds of the world are like, oh, it's got a celebrity name on it, it's gonna suck. They judge it before they even smoke it, or maybe even after they smoke it, they still had this idea in their head that, oh, it's a celebrity cigar, so I'm a purist, or whatever.
Yeah, but how big is that pool? Your average cigar smoke across the nation, what, 2 or 3%?
Yeah.
Right. And of them are actual cigar smokers that smoke on the regular. Right.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I agree with you on that.
So it's designed to tap into everybody else. So let it.
Yeah. Have most of these cigars failed because they weren't good, or because they didn't have distribution? I look at it, most of the failures I've seen has been because the distribution had not been there.
That's a great point.
Yeah. I think that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is the level of investment from the celebrity. Did he just put his name on something and say, hey, okay, this is going to be great? Or is he saying, hey, I'm going to, I'll get to work with this as well, and I'll show up and I'll do specific things and I'll do specific outings and events. Yeah. Guys everywhere, like he'll pop in and he'll do events at places, he's always at the Greek Smoke, like that guy's putting in the work, man, Yeah. So, if more celebrities are like that, of course it would do fantastic. Yeah.
So 2 questions, Mike. When's your $50 cigar coming up? And second question is, who are you going to have sponsor your next cigar?
Sponsor my next cigar? Realistically,
your celebrity endorsement.
Your celebrity endorsement.
Mike Tyson's gone, so I don't know what to do. Where do we go from here? Is the real question. And I don't think The Rock would do something like that. So but if I was chasing somebody, it would definitely be Dwayne.
Sure.
Yeah,
he's hot right now.
He's like, I've always been, as a kid, I love that guy, right? So, but for me, I'm not against making a $50 cigar. Would it happen? It could. I'm not going to say no, but I'll come out with, if I did, I'd come out with some bullshit fucking rhetoric that would be in the press release that it would say that, hey, we're basing off of Hong Kong pricing, and it's $50, right? Like whatever. So, I don't know if Putin would do well, David, in the U.S. I just couldn't see that.
Yeah. The brand, Hammer and Sickle had to shut down. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike, Jason Momoa would suit you a little better than The Rock.
I'd be cool with Jason Momoa. He'd be a solid number 2, but I'd have to let him know that look, The Rock wasn't available. So
Well, yeah. No offense, but you were my second choice.
I'm like, look, I tried to get through Aquaman 2. I couldn't make it. You know,
I barely made it through Aquaman 1.
yeah, I turned that thing on and like I love to sit and watch movies with my kids. So and my 4-year-old daughter, she's like my movie person. So she'll sit with me and watch whatever. She doesn't care. But there have been a couple movies she's like, I'm fucking out of here. You know, so Aquaman 2, 10 minutes in, she's like, I don't get it. I'm gone. And she did the same thing with Wonka. But there was other movies that she's like, why is that man getting his head chopped off? And she'll sit and watch the whole thing with me. I'm like, yeah, you know, well listen, you got to kill the immortals. You know, it is what it is.
All right, let's ease our way back into trade show talk.
PCA.
So kind of this question kind of affects a few different areas, you know, because each aspect of the show, because we've got retailers, we've got media, and we've got manufacturers. And I'm curious about the loss. You know, we're basically at a 3-day trade show now.
Yeah.
So it's a 3 full day trade show. So from a manufacturer, you know, brand owner standpoint, Mike,
Ooh.
does the loss of that half day really matter to you at all?
Thank God it's gone. It was just a waste of fucking time anyways. We did nothing at the last day. You sat around, you ran to other people's booths, you harassed your friends. You know, like that's all that happens on the last day. Everybody's gone. You know, a lot of people are gone after day 2. Like, all right, we're out of here. You know, that's it. I can only have so many people staying at the shop, so many people watching it. I got to get back to it. And, you know, kudos to those retailers. Say, hey, I got to get back to work.
Right.
You know, if you have a strategy and you're looking at, and you know what you're buying, and then you're going to dabble in a couple other brands that you haven't experienced yet, you can square that all up in 2 days. You know, if you're just kind of screwing around, you know, it could be a time suck for 3 days. 4, no, you're not doing anything on the 4th day. You're not there. Normally, day 3, a lot of these guys get so wasted that they're not even showing up until after it's closed. You know.
Yeah. Now, from the standpoint of the Cigar Hustler retail space, do you have other people that are handling the purchasing for you, or are you doing that as well?
Well, my brother handles a lot of the purchasing when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, realistically, there's probably 3 or 4 manufacturers or brands that we have to tap, right?
Sure.
You know, but you already have your kind of Drew Estate deal worked out. Your Churro Fuente is what you really want to do. I love going and checking with Padron because they like doing this PCA release, which I think is fantastic. Sometimes they give you more access to the 50th on those days. So, you know, and that's a particular cigar that we do fairly well with. You know, other than that, as far as mid-level, for one, I want to go and see what the fuck is going on with Nick Melillo. I have no idea. Maybe you guys can elaborate a little bit. I mean, he packed his shit and left Aganorsa and moved over to Pepin Garcia. Like, I don't know what happened. Can somebody tell me what happened? And why haven't we heard from him? Why aren't we talking to this guy? Because from what I understand, the Aganorsa guy and the Pepin Garcia guy hate each other. They absolutely can't stand each other. So, like, that's a pretty big fuck you if you're going to up your entire manufacturing and go somewhere else. And I just want to know why. What happened? Like, you know, and like, so, like, I want to ask that question. I want to know what's going on. Like, hey, what's up, man? You know, was it something as stupid as, like, you know what, I just didn't like their pricing? Or was it more than that? Yeah. Like, you know, and that's the kind of media coverage that I want to hear from the industry.
And I listen, I agree with you, but the thing, and Coop, I want you to talk a lot to this particular topic, Coop, but
he's got jokes.
But the thing is, in the vast majority of cases like this, when somebody separates from a factory or when there's some kind of a, upheaval between 2 different companies or whatever it may be, it is almost like unicorn rare. Or like Eclipse kind of rare that you actually get somebody to tell you what's actually going on. They can't, whether there's a legal agreement in place or they just don't, they're afraid if they tell the truth, they're going to get sued or something like that. You're never going to get somebody to tell you what actually happened as to why they left.
Mike, you need the re-termination clauses sometimes in contracts, is what I'll just tell you. That's why you're not hearing stuff, okay? I'm being honest here. Here's the thing. Mike makes a good point. There's history with these 2, right? But in the end, Nick made a business decision. Nick made a business decision. I don't know why it's got to be a soap opera always attached to it.
Oh,
I can understand. I can understand it in this case a bit, but hey, he made a soap opera. Maybe he made a decision. I don't want to do business with Aganor. It's not right for me. And guess what? Maybe my father came in and wowed him with something. It could have just been something as simple as that.
Yeah, and I just want to know. So, like, I feel like that's the media coverage that needs to happen sometimes.
It sometimes can't, Mike, because termination clauses are I'm sure there's termination language in these types of things.
What are they going to do?
What are they going to do? The lawyers get involved. Once the lawyers get involved, it's not good. Once the lawyers get involved, it's not fun.
Okay.
I mean, I understand you want the juice, you want the gossip. It's just sometimes that can't happen. All right,
okay.
It can't happen. I know you want that. A media person ain't going to get that in or out if there's a termination.
I want the juice or the gossip. Is just that I want the unveiling of the cigar industry. I want the smoking barriers to fucking non-exist and say, hey, this is why I did.
Well, it's a business. It's like a business like anything else, Mike, and that's not how other businesses. I understand you want the cigar industry.
You rarely see behind the curtain in any
other industry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that I've seen in the past in the cigar industry that I have seen an unveiling on one side of the person and one person's perspective of something, and another person tried to defend themselves and they didn't get that opportunity. So, like, I want to see both sides.
I can understand that. Yeah, but he just may not be able to talk about that.
You're totally right.
I'm with you, Mike. I want to see it. I want to know what the hell's going on.
And from a media perspective, so if you look at it from the aspect, this is immediately what came to mind. You look at the aspect of the entertainment industry. I mean, the things that go on, the behind the curtain of the entertainment industry is endless. But you've got groups like TMZ, and if there were to be a TMZ of the cigar media per se, then they would never be able to stay on the air or stay in
why not
stay operating, because they would get sued.
We'd be burning all the bridges, baby.
They would get sued on a weekly basis. They get C&D letters or lawsuits in their mailbox on a weekly basis.
Reporting media is not what?
So I'll tell you that would only the C&Ds and the lawsuits would only happen. Oh, Raul's calming me down now. I'm getting fired up. The C&Ds and the lawsuits would only happen if somebody from cigar media were actually able to get on the record answers from cigar companies about the things that go on behind the scenes and behind the curtain. And that when somebody from cigar media is told things that happen, and we know this from experience, and Coop knows this too. Mm-hmm. Somebody will tell you something that's behind the curtain and they say, this is off the record.
The record.
And so if you report on that, then there's going to be a problem. You're going to lose the trust from those people and possibly be subject to some kind of legal action. And I don't think you're ever going to see that style of reporting in the cigar industry.
We need that.
We need that. That would be a very tough nut to crack. Coop, what do you think about?
Yeah, it's very tough nut to crack. I'll tell you something. I pulled Cigar Coop's coverage of trademark stuff out a few months ago. Because I learned it's a complex thing that, frankly, I did not have the bandwidth or the stamina to get around. And the only things we'll talk about is if it goes to court and there's a decision, then we'll talk about it. But a lot of times there's things that, like, trademarks are so complicated, is what I've learned, that it's not easy to report on that type of stuff. And I've seen people try to report on it. I see a lot of misinformation end up coming out with it. So I just stopped. And frankly, I didn't see a lot of interest in it I know it sounds crazy. I know we like the juice and the gossip, but and look, we have fun. We have message chats guessing how long a name's going to last on a cigar privately. We do that, right? We're into it, but I don't see the audience ain't into that. The audience there's a small audience that's into this.
I mean, Jack Ryan said best. If there isn't a rumor going on in the cigars industry by 12:30, you better start one.
Jack News Network. Yep.
Well, and as small as the premium cigar industry is, I used to work in the medical device industry, and especially medical devices are really big in Minnesota. That sort of industry is really big in Minnesota, and working in that industry, it was sort of kind of a revolving door. You got people that that suddenly join the team. They're like, oh yeah, I used to work for Boston Scientific, or I used to work for Medtronic, or I used to work for Cook Medical, or one of the other big medical device companies. And it just happens. And then they go to another company and another company, and then somebody starts a new company with a new technology, and so on and so forth. And the cigar industry isn't really much different except for the scale. The cigar industry is, maybe 1/100th the size of the medical device industry. So it's really a lot of this, how many people do we know that used to work for 5 other cigar companies, or people, a sales guy goes from here to there and then over to here and then to there, and a blender or a factory manager or whatever it might be. And there are so many stories behind the curtain, Mike, that we all, we hear inklings about, or some of them we actually get to sit down and, have a conversation with the people who are actually involved. But as far as like actually reporting on that and like getting that information out, first of all, I don't know how many cigar consumers really give a shit. And second of all, the risk of putting that information out there, for me, it's just too big a risk to put that information out there.
You and I were on something very similar. We were dealing with this, and we just couldn't put it out there. It was a 2 sides where every story thing, and you're hearing one side and you're not hearing the other side. Yeah,
I mean, when you get a cease and desist letter from a lawyer, I'm not going to lie, your sphincter puckers up a little bit, and
I haven't gotten one yet. But I would do the same thing.
That's my point. Just put a disclaimer out. Hey, listen, whatever the fuck we say is whatever, Like,
watch the end of the show. We have one.
In the end, Matt doesn't even need a disclaimer, but you know what? It will make your life miserable. I'll just tell you that.
We do have a disclaimer at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I know, it's remarkable.
You don't even need the disclaimer. You legally don't need the disclaimer. I understand why you have it, though.
Remarkably smart.
It's it may or may not bear some general similarities to the one from Cigar Hustlers podcast.
Smart.
Can you tell I work at a law firm and I know lawyers who know how to word stuff?
So yep, and I work on legal contracts too. That's what I'm just saying. I just
smoke cigars. So, but anyways, I'm excited to go and see some of those guys. And I can easily do that. I can send Greg to place some orders to bring it back to PCA. I do want to harass Nick, and he can probably avoid me with the questions. That's fine. But I also love Eric Espinoza and that whole squad. So I'm going to go see those guys, see what they got new, that sort of thing. And then obviously see Saka, but he's got 75,000 media appointments. So, and then I just walk away.
So what do you guys think about I've talked about this for years, that I think one of the trade show floor itself during the day is really important, and it's great because people are writing orders and they're, seeing people they haven't been able to see in a long time, and that's all wonderful. But the after hours stuff can sometimes be equally as important, for relationship building, networking, that kind of thing. Do you, and like you said, Mike, the Sands Convention Center / now the Venetian Expo Center, more centrally located, definitely. And also being in July, typically for the last number of years, not nearly as crowded in Las Vegas. We're going to be, coming up against March Madness and all kinds of other events. So cigar spaces are going to be in high demand after hours, and those networking events are going to be they're going to be harder to reserve and book and just kind of have a impromptu, hey, let's gather here, at whether it's at 8 or it's at Davidoff or it's at Casa de Monte Cristo or wherever it might be. Let's gather at this place and have a team meeting or meet with some retailers or whatever. Do you think this year is going to be tougher for the after hours networking events?
Coop, start us off.
Yeah, go ahead. It will be. It will be. There's no question about it. There will be, for all the reasons you said. It's more crowded. You have a basketball tournament going on where people will be watching it. The word's out already at the cigar bars, at the host hotels, at the conventions coming into town. It's cigars, so they're putting minimums in. it's going to affect it. I mean, this is what the industry wanted. They wanted this trade show earlier in the year. So something had to give. Something's going to have to give on that. That's what I'm just going to say. It might be cheaper to go into someone's room and just pay the smoking fine, by the way. I was actually thinking about this.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
It might actually be cheaper to go do that.
Pay the cleaning fee.
Play the cleaning fee, and you just do it. And hopefully no one, they don't kick you out of the hotel. They could kick you out of, but I wouldn't do it in a host hotel, by the way, is the other thing I'll say.
Do you think the Venetian would send a cease and desist? That's what I want to know.
On what?
Those are the real
questions.
I don't know. I'm just fucking with you, Coop.
Okay. No, I mean they could look in a host hotel. They could probably kick you out, and you could be kicked out of the trade show. I would not do that on a host hotel. But if you're down in another hotel, the after hours stuff. It's that Bar Lucas scene has just gotten ridiculously crowded in the last few years. Where I don't know how people enjoy. I mean, it used to be not nearly as bad as it got the last few years. I don't know. I mean, it's at a point. I don't think it used to be fun to be at Bar Luca, the old champagne bar. The last few years, it hasn't been fun. It's overcrowded. You can't move. It's, people spitting on you when they're talking. It's like, that happened to me. Yeah. I mean, it's just,
there's a couple guys in the industry that definitely they're close talkers and they spray on you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And one of them sprayed me and he had COVID and I didn't. Go figure that.
I mean, usually in Vegas, you got to pay somebody a couple $100 to spit on you, but that's a different,
totally different experience.
But I get it. I do think it is an important part of it. I kind of wish that maybe PCA had worked. Yeah, but PCA tried this a few years ago. They tried to have a smoking area on the convention floor. No one wanted it. No one wanted to be on it. So they did try a few years ago.
Well, they're doing that again this year.
Are they gonna? But they were trying to have something till like 11 o'clock at night, I think.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're doing that late, but they're doing the happy hours.
The happy hours they're doing, But remember, they did that because they didn't know if you could smoke anywhere in Vegas. So they had that, but no one wanted to go there. So,
Well, and I think to PCA's credit, that was kind of they booked that before they knew. They really had no idea that other smoking spaces were going to be available in Vegas in other areas of Vegas after they booked that.
They did, but based on the lack of success, I mean, this would have been an ideal year to do that again.
Yeah.
Because of, and by the way, I don't think, these minimums are normal during these big events in Vegas. Just, I've been in Vegas for Super Bowl weekend once. And it was very similar. So,
okay.
This is not out of the norm is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Mike.
Well, for me personally, I've been in the industry for 15 years. So, and I say that, and I'm not proud of it. Believe me, it just is what it is. So at this point, like I know where everybody's going to be in specific times, specific places. I've already been invited to multiple things, whether it's retailers putting together something, brand owners or manufacturers, or me just crashing at the media house watching Coop type shit on his computer while we're all hanging out on the patio. So,
would you have? By the way, you all have a lifetime invite. By the way, to the media compound. Everyone on this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so just you guys do have that. Yeah.
So like I'm gonna. I already have kind of my places where I'm gonna go and see to some degree. And come 11 o'clock, 11:30, I fucking turn into a pumpkin anyways, and I'm out.
You weren't the midnight gal, yeah.
Yeah, at that point, I know I got to get up in the morning. Normally, I like to hit the gym, get my mind right before I hit the floor, anyways. So, and there comes a time that no matter where you are, past midnight, 1 a.m. There's nothing going on but just bullshit and fucking trouble anyways. So, I don't need to be a part of that. I'm out, right? And I like to see who's there at 6 a.m. still at the bar, because I'll wake up, I'll go to the gym, and then I see my boy Pete Hernandez just going hard in the paint. I'm like, yes.
The people who are going to bed when Fred Rui wakes up.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, I don't need to get sucked into that. So, it's good to go out afterwards. Good to have the camaraderie. And, if you're a new retailer and you haven't established that, hopefully you hook up with somebody that will take you to some of those things. That's what's really kind of important. It is going to kind of be all over the place. I think that it's always going to be kind of all over the place. And, you just kind of figure out a way to adapt or just go the fuck to bed.
Yeah.
Mike, I got a question off the rails here.
Go ahead.
How much would it take for you to be bought out by a larger company?
Oh,
How much would it take for what? All of it?
All of it.
I don't know. Probably like 16 million. Probably be the number.
Wow, I love it. He's not holding back. He's honest. He's just.
I think 16 million.
I love that.
That would that include the media empire?
I mean, I wouldn't want it to, but
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
I don't.
So just Poshik, like the brands.
Just Poshik. I mean, Poshik's the one that I love the most. So
that's all the brands encompassed under the Poshik umbrella.
Yeah, I mean, I'm my number's high. I'm sticking at 16 million. But
Okay,
that's my number. You know,
Okay.
because I got to split that with my brother, so it's 8 and 8, and at 8 I can figure out how to parlay that.
And Cigar Hustlers Universe would be probably another 6 or 7 million.
Easy with all the money that it makes, of course.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know. That might be a little low, like 10 to 12, I think.
And Coop, how much would it take for you to retire from cigar media?
40 million.
I
think no.
Reasonable.
I would.
a casket.
Yeah, 40 million.
40 million. That's a good number.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, because you'd have to be nuts to buy and do what I'm doing. I think this. I'm at that time of the year where I'm certifiably. Why am I doing this every year? You know, I come at that. We need to make changes next year because it's just today was insanity. It was insanity, and I just why am I doing this?
It does seem to always be for media, for people that we know in cigar media. It does seem to be the weeks immediately leading up to the trade show that most cigar media people say to themselves, why are we doing this?
I mean, you're telling me try having a cigar brand for 10 years and not getting acknowledged by all the fucking media. It's crazy.
You got a number 4 cigar of the year on Coop, by the way. That's a high rating. You got.
What have you done for me lately, Coop? What have you done for me lately?
What have you done for us lately?
I mentioned Coop and how about a cigar every fucking almost every week.
You do, and yeah.
And now you're getting a phone call. God damn it!
I want that phone call. I want that Monday phone call. Damn it! I'm ready. I have notes. I have things ready to go on this.
It's gonna be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, just about the whole after hours thing, I'm gonna refresh everybody right now that I have a very positive outlook on it this year, and that is because in the past, you know, the host hotel when it was at the Venetian Expo Center, the host hotel, you know, being, you know, the Venetian, some people the Palazzo, but still sort of in that same compound. Very centrally located, and also, like Coop said, that Bar Luca was it was, unless you got there basically 20 minutes before the trade show floor closed, you were not going to get a seat. And if you wanted a seat, you were going to have to pay for it. And it was just too uncomfortable and too crowded. But now it's actually spread out a little bit because the host hotel, there are multiple host hotels. So you've got Resorts World, you've got I believe the Radisson, you've got the Westgate, and you've got the Sahara, if I'm not mistaken.
They have a good cigar smoking lounge there.
Yeah, and the lobby bar at the Westgate is actually a really nice space, and
they've redone it. Yeah,
and the spaces, we already know about the spaces at Resorts World. They've got 8, which is going to be crowded, but
and expensive.
I think Tobacco is not a fan.
No, they went from like 250 is what Mad Tobacco and them got reserved for, and then now they turned around and changed it to 750 for a table.
So that's what they
Without
do
intel.
when they have big events coming up, and they did the same thing.
Yeah, they already reserved it, knowing the big event was coming up.
Yeah,
now
that's the problem is they
week
didn't honor his
750,
reservation.
They already reserved it. That's kind of messed up.
And they did the same thing during the Super Bowl. So people had reservations for either hotel rooms or a table at the cigar lounge at Resorts World. And after their reservation was already confirmed and paid for, the place sent them a notice saying your price just went up double.
Yeah, Vegas is notorious for that.
And they can do that. They really, it's like, what are you going to do? You can bitch and complain until you're blue in the face.
Right.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate the fact that it's going to, so I think you're going to have sort of conglomerations of people at each of those spaces. So you're going to have people at the Sahara, you're going to have people at the Westgate, you're going to have people at Resorts World, and so on and so forth. And they're all going to have spaces to smoke in after hours. And then if they want to get together and go have, a dinner someplace and then have a cigar at Casa de Monte Cristo or Casa Fuente, or although Casa Fuente I think closes at like 7 p.m. or something. But there are spaces to do it. So I actually think we're going to see less of the absolutely massive crowds like we used to see at Bar Luca, and there'll be a little more breathing room. So I think that's a really good thing.
Tony brings up a good point.
Do they have enough bourbon in Vegas for Meta?
Interesting. I don't know, because I'm giving them Agita as is.
So when I am at social events, I stick to clear liquors.
Oh.
So gin and tonics. I could go through enough gin and tonics to like fill a swimming pool. Yet if after about 5 or 6 whiskeys, I'm way beyond done for. So if it's brown liquor, I can't go very late into the night. If it's clear liquor,
brownie's down.
If it's brown, I'm down. So yeah, gin and tonics, that is the key to staying alert and festive during after hours events. Stick to clear liquors and you'll be a lot happier. Or just drink water, honestly.
I have a question. I don't know if you're going to ask this or not. But it's okay. So realistically, we're going to all assume, I would assume that we're thinking that this is going to be a busy PCA, right? The way that they moved it to March, the way that the way that we're seeing how TPA got crushed a little bit, that whole scenario, I would assume that this is going to be busy, right? If you look at the list, there's about 1,400 badges that have already been like sold or whatever, and on average there's about 3 retailers per badge, or three people per each thing. I'm just spitballing an average number. That puts you at about 450 real buyers at PCA. Is that number enough for your mid-level boutiques that are trying to grow?
I'll say I don't think it matters personally. I don't think it matters from one year to the next when it comes to mid-level boutiques, as far as how many people are there during the 3 days of the trade show.
Okay.
I think it matters what those mid-level boutiques do the rest of the year, specifically on social media.
Well, so let's remove the mid-level boutiques. Is it worth any brand to be there? Like, I mean, the big guys are going to have those sales regardless, right?
Yes.
So, some of your small guys are going to have those sales regardless. Are you actually going to obtain 5% of that number of new retailers? Or, I mean, is that a logical number? Like, what do you think is actually possible for any brand, no matter their size, to obtain with 450 retailers coming to the spot?
Well, go ahead.
Well, with the boutique cigar companies, I would think you're going to start building relationships with people that are there, rather than maybe not get an order or have them spend a bunch of money there. But you start building that relationship. You start building, hey, smoke this, take a couple back to your people. Then next month when you recover a little bit, give me a call, Mike. I want to have all your stuff in my shop. I think that's where you got to go with that if you're a small boutique company.
So filled with so much hope, Raul. So much hope.
Well, and I'll say this too, and I'm not saying one way or another that this is like, I'm just gonna say it. So if you learn from the examples of companies in the past who've had massive success with getting their name to grow quickly, these companies have put money behind that growth. And the companies that have been really effective at that growth, especially in the social media space, they do it by relying on other people's social media space, not just their own. And I'm not saying this as, I'm going to throw this up here just because this is, and this is all tongue in cheek. This is a joke. but this is what we talk about. You know, we joke about I only go to the trade show for free samples.
That's why we go.
Where are the free samples at?
And
that's right, Coop. That's why we go. And so many people joke, oh, that's the only reason, you know, media goes to the trade shows for free samples. I don't need the cigars to go to the trade show. But the cigar companies, if you look at what Drew Estate did, if you look at what other companies have done, when they put money behind connections with cigar media, podcasts, bloggers, Instagrammers, so on and so forth, they not only then are relying on their own social media, they're then putting resources behind other people's social media. And it's been proven, and again, I'm not saying right or wrong, I'm just saying, look, the proof is in the pudding. When some of these companies have put money and resources and time into building relationships with new cigar media, their brands reach a lot more eyes than if they just go to the trade show and set up their booth and talk to whatever retailers happen to walk by and stop, and then maybe have a few conversations at the bar later that night.
True. I mean, you're kind of arguing an aspect that I'm kind of bringing up, you know, like,
yeah,
it's just a random question. You know, I mean, I'm going to go support PCA regardless, right?
Yes.
Whether I get kicked in the teeth or not, I believe that that's solely on me, right? But you are kind of arguing the opposite, because you just used Drew Estate as an example, and they pulled out of PCA. And then what did they do? They leveraged hard on media outlets and all these other things. So like, they don't necessarily have to be there, right?
Yeah, I'll say that. And again, this goes back to that whole behind the curtain thing. And I'm saying I'm speculating on what I'm about to say, because I wasn't I didn't participate in these conversations or these meetings, but I don't believe that Drew Estate pulled out of PCA. I believe that Swisher International pulled out of PCA. And but like it or not, there's a difference.
Okay.
I don't think Drew Estate necessarily wanted to step away from being a part of the PCA trade show, but I could be wrong about that. Again, I'm speculating. But Drew Estate had these relationships and built these relationships with bloggers and podcasters before Swisher was even a part of the equation.
Right.
Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
You done? Mike, do you think that having the 3 of the 4 big boys coming back to PCA will hurt boutique cigar companies?
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
I don't think that. No, that's 2 different consumers.
Losing the half day does hurt the smaller companies. I'm going to tell you that straight out.
No.
It's definitely going to hurt some of the smaller companies who a lot of when we want to have time to get intros to.
Oh, as far as media exposure for.
Yeah. The half day, that half day is way more important for interviews and media coverage, and we just sales necessarily.
But we, as media, like our team, we totally understand why that half day was nuked. It was embarrassingly empty. We good decision by the PCA. Yes. We have to just adjust. They gave us an extra hour, and they're trying to work with us. We'll see how that works. So, but yeah,
you get in for free now, right, Coop? Because
that's fake news. I had to pay $600 for my team.
Damn.
Because what they did is they didn't give media for free. They gave the media outlets 2 free badges. And I have 6 people. I have 6 people this year.
Yeah, so we had to pay the $150 for the third third badge.
So it didn't and look, I appreciate what they did. They should have just said it was a restructuring of the media passes. It wasn't media's getting it for free. I paid $600.
Well, I mean, to some degree, like how many media sources that are actually qualified, such as yourself, right? For you to bring in 6 people, I understand it. Like how many other people would bring in 6 people and 4 of them would be there to fuck around? you know.
Oh, great.
So,
I have no. By the way, I have no problem. I'm not complaining about it. I have no problem with it.
No.
It's just I did not. It was not free. That's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah, this was a previous issue that you've addressed in the past, and you know, and it looked like they were putting forth an effort, and you know, I can see that that effort has been matched to some degree. Yeah, but there's definitely maybe there should be some exceptions. I mean, to the cigar media icon you should be able to bring.
Well, my question to the PCA was, why don't I just get my team badges from company XYZ? Why am I paying? And by the way, when I get badges from company XYZ, I could be on the show floor on setup day. And I think that might have triggered a lot of conversation in the PCA when I said that last year.
Hey, at least they're being receptive and they're trying to make things.
They are. I have no. That's why I haven't made it. I haven't made a big issue of this for a lot of reasons because I think they made some good decisions here.
Honestly, and Coop can speak to this too. The changes, the positive changes I've seen from the PCA and the way they deal with media from my time back 2016, 17, and 18 when I was with Blind Man's Puff, it was brutal. I mean, I remember waiting in line and seeing Emmett from Blind Man's Puff have an argument with somebody from PCA who's, to best of my knowledge, not even with the organization anymore, about the most ridiculous. I was like, this person who used to be part of this organization was having this argument with Emmett about the most childish, moronic thing. And I was like, I can't believe I flew all the way to Las Vegas for this. This is moronic. It's ridiculous. And things I should have recorded it, and things have turned over so drastically
really
since
well.
The first couple trade shows I went to in 16 and 17 and since, honestly, so much credit to Scott Pierce and other people who have joined the organization since then, that honestly, as cigar media, since starting How About That Cigar, we feel like we genuinely feel like a part of it. We feel welcomed. We feel appreciated and valued. And not that that's why we do it, but it is nice. It is a nice bonus to actually feel like, hey, we're glad you're here.
To feel valued.
Instead of go away, kid, you bother me.
I remember, I remember trying to get someone even to have a conversation with me. Like, I couldn't even get to that point with Emmett. And Scott Pierce, whenever we've asked him to come on a show, and I'm sure you have the same experience, he comes on. And Scott's done, like, I know he's been at events and he's come to do that show with us after his event. You know, he's made every effort to engage. The same goes for Josh and Glenn Loop as well. They've been very, very, very accessible. Do I agree with everything the PCA does? No. But let me tell you, Matt, I don't know if you remember 2013, 2014. It was bad.
Well, I wasn't involved in cigar media at that time, but I was watching, you know, I was one of those, and still am one of those cigar nerds. I was watching your coverage and I was reading your coverage and stuff that Cigar Federation and Cigar Dojo were doing back, you know, in the early 2010s. And I've heard you guys talk about some of those days where you barely even were able to make it on the show floor, let alone be treated with some general level of respect. Yeah. So what Scott and I agree with Jay, what Scott and his team have done is as cigar media, we are so unbelievably grateful for the way they have turned around their relationships with us.
Absolutely.
And it means the world to us.
Absolutely.
I will say this, like, I looked at the media list this year. This is probably the first time I've ever looked at that. And I didn't see a lot of influencers or bullshit. I saw like a lot of people that had YouTube pages that were working on developing and trying to create education on brands and exposure and stuff. And, you know, the levels of involvement they obviously differ, but I would say 90% of them, if not more, seemed legit. So, you know, I thought that was pretty fucking cool. Instead of just seeing, you know, some bullshit fucking person with an Instagram page, you know, I mean, hey, if that's your thing, it is, you do what you do, but like, you're not media, you know? So however they vetted that, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. So
we had to submit credentials this year, and I welcome that. I love every year I have no problem submitting the credentials.
It works,
And
man. It works.
It worked. If I haven't seen a list, because that list was probably made available to the manufacturers, but all I'm saying is that's a positive change. And that, by the way, that list used to never be distributed, from what I understand. And now I have some companies who do reach out to me at least, and I know, and we could try to build a relationship even before the show. So those are positive changes all around.
Yeah, absolutely.
The question is, are those influencers going to be allowed on retailers' passes like
that's the
big question is. Now, if they're vetting that, that's the next step they need to get to with that.
Look, there's always going to be some fuckery. It's going to be hard to contain everything. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
The only way that you could actually address that is if you went ahead and you addressed it directly to the brand owner or the manufacturer. Say, hey, listen, man, please don't do that. Please don't bring this person here. We don't need that here. We don't need that additional headache and bullshit. We don't need to hear it from, the other people in the other booths, the rudeness or whatever the case may be. And, they actually submitted rules as well to media, like, hey, don't interrupt somebody when they're doing an interview, when they're talking business. Or
they kept the free sample. We still can't ask for those, but that's another story. That one I'll take offline on another story with them.
They're like, hey, don't conduct a sale for a sponsorship or some of those other things. And I can appreciate that. I understand why they wouldn't want those things. I mean, we made a joke about it on our podcast, but in all reality, those things make sense. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I think we don't actually have time to do a lot of that stuff, but that's why they did the free badges. Is they said, okay, for these influencers, a lot of them are 1 or 2 man operations. You can get in for free. You don't have to go that route, and you'll get, you can get in for free. That's why they did it. And hopefully it works. Like I said, I still think there's going to be people who get in with the manufacturer badges, and how they enforce that. That's not my problem.
Yeah. I'll say this, that I think if this new system, of media gets in, quote unquote, for free for the first 2 badges, and if that brings in 20, 30, honestly, even 100 more influencers from Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and that's more, and if what they're doing is positive and informationally consumer kind of based, then, and what they're putting out there into the world to get more people interested in the hobby and activity of premium cigar enjoyment, I'm all for it. And there are going to be some bad apples mixed in there, but I think the juice well outweighs the squeeze.
Your media badges are slightly north of 100, just so you know. That's it. And that's include and Coop's got 5 or 6 of that. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Cigar Journal's got a bunch of them.
Dojo's got 6. I think there's and Blind Man's
Puff has 6.
Yeah, and we defined all our rules when we all of our roles when we went out there. So our roles are very clearly defined. What we have, Trip and Dennis are going to be doing the spirits piece, so they're going to also be helping us do double coverage, so we don't have to all be in one booth at the same time now.
Right. So I mean, I think that this is great, because I don't want to deal with an influencer, man. I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to deal with actual people that are investing their time and energy as far as media. Right.
Now, let me ask you this, Mike. When it comes to, you said you don't want to deal with an influencer, but to you, what does that define? Because if it's just, if it's, let's say somebody who just comes up to you with their iPhone and, they're going to, do something on TikTok really fast and say, hey, Mike from, Postani Cigars, tell us about what you guys are featuring this year. And you give them 45 seconds. Versus where's the line for you as a manufacturer who people would want to get interviews with? Where is the line for you as media versus influencer?
Well, I think for one, it'd be zero shtick. Like, as far as bullshit, I don't need some fucking person, some teeny bopper in a fucking midriff fucking shirt coming up to me that knows nothing about cigars just to come up and fucking try and talk to me. I don't want that. I don't need it, and I don't have the fucking time or energy for that. So that's number one. Number two is, hoping that if you're in media, that you have so you've invested some time and energy in brands, right? That you may have heard some things about me. I mean, like, I'm not hard to find, some of these other guys definitely aren't hard to find, and having some information about their brands, their products, and some of that other stuff. So like, those are kind of the things that I would look to see. If you're just kind of winging it, like, I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, that's not fair to everybody else that actually gives a shit. So, let's keep the bullshit to a medium, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where I kind of see the difference.
An example,
Brittany.
like, are you messaging somebody? I don't think that's normal in a relationship.
TV's on.
If it is, like, I don't want that relationship.
Let's
What are we watching?
90 Day Fiance.
Oh, all right. My wife watches that show. I've never seen it.
I've not checked it out yet. I got to check
You
it
have
out.
been on this Love Is Blind kick.
My
heard that's
wife,
good.
I can't watch stuff like that. I can't do it.
Stressful.
No, I would never. All right. So, yeah, go ahead if you got something.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the big four.
Yes.
Is that what you're going to bring up?
Yeah.
All right. What do you guys think about the 3 of the 4 coming back?
Who's got which of those? Can I add that part?
Yeah, go ahead.
Which of the big 4 do you think of the big 3 that's returned? So we got Altadis, we got General Cigar as like the entirety of General Cigar, and Drew Estate. Which of those 3 do you think has the most to gain by being back at the PCA Trade Show?
You asking me?
We'll start with Coop on this one.
Well,
Sorry,
Altadis came back. Altadis came back last year, so. But Ford
Altadis was back in in sort of like General Cigar, sort of in part they were back.
Yeah, so now they're bringing the General brands.
Yeah.
I think it's General by far. Because they have a lot of brands, and this is a great chance to get a lot of traction and exposure for those brands. And they're reaching out to media people for appointments. So I think Drew Estate's really well established with their channels already with the media. Altadis, I think, has a little more work to do with that. And I think you'll see a little more work with that this year. They have a new marketing team in there this year, so I think that's going to help. But I still think that General's got the most to gain because they're gonna unveil everything at the show pretty much. They don't do a lot of pre-announcement, maybe a couple of things they throw out there. So I think it's going to be General.
Okay.
Me personally, I feel like it's just more based on an image thing. When you're not involved in PCA, and at least you're an invested retailer, it's a bad look, man. It's a bad fucking look. It's like, I don't think that it really helps per se as far as overall sales, other than the fact that it gives you a better image in the industry. Like, hey, we're invested in supporting this. We believe in it. We believe in fighting the good fight, and we want to kind of, stand shoulder to shoulder with everybody. So I think that that's the more important thing. It's just the overall look, the aesthetics of things. So, it depends on, as far as a retail's way of sales and stuff. I don't think that it makes a huge difference. I mean, General and those brands, they have their little, space in my humidor. I can't really see it aggressively expanding at this point. Now,
Okay.
I'm a little further established, but they're not going to lose space either by showing up.
Right.
Whereas if they didn't show up, I'd be like, fuck these guys.
I see that. I can see that. That's a good point.
Jay's got a great question. Which manufacturer will lose the most media coverage with only 3 days of the show? That's a great question. Jay, I'm really jealous and angry that I didn't think of that question myself. No, kudos to you for a great question.
Jay's got his finger on the pulse in his
He
industry.
does. Absolutely.
Some shit that he says, I'm just like, God damn, man, he knows what's going on. Without question. So yeah, that's a damn good question. Who's
that's a really
I'm thinking about that one. Yeah.
That's a really tough one to answer. I mean, I guess the number one thing that comes to mind is, and we've seen this in past years, there were companies that packed up at the end of day 3 before, and they literally were not on the show floor. They even left their shit behind. They left behind their ashtrays and their and all that stuff on that final half day. Should I mention names? I guess.
Do it.
Freud was not there for the half day last year,
but they have been like not media friendly,
and they generally, yeah.
But it's not the Orgasmo coming up now.
Yeah.
I actually like. I know there's been some changes in Freud because I actually got a new contact today from Freud because and I'm hoping that maybe that changes this year with them.
Were they microdosing to come up with that name? I mean, what the fuck?
It's very creative.
Orgasmo.
It's very creative. I'd say
I think the medium companies that aren't media friendly, like there's certain booths of some of these companies that media doesn't go to because they don't know people there. And a lot of times when you had the 3.5 days, you take the shot at going in there to try to, introduce yourself. And we've had success with that over the years. Like 2 companies, Oliva and Ashton, we've had great success we worked that. So now we know we can go there. But a lot of media companies who haven't been covering those brands, they're probably not going to have the time to do that now because they have brands that are supporting them and brands they're familiar with, which is human nature. So I think the medium companies may have the most to lose with this.
Well, and that's actually a really good point, Coop, because there are cigar brands that we haven't really necessarily covered in the past, specifically trade show coverage, and those brands, they only have so many brand ambassadors and salespeople and sort of their quote unquote face of the company.
Yeah,
and they don't. There's only so much time at the trade show, and they don't necessarily have time to do an interview with every single media outfit that shows up at the trade show. So there are times you're going to show up at a booth and they're going to say, you know what, guys, I'm really sorry. We don't have time.
Yeah.
And I'm, am I disappointed by it? Yeah. Do I think it would be better? They'd be better off, just giving us literally 7 minutes. Yeah. I think they would be better off giving us 7 minutes, but it's not my time to give. It's theirs. It's their decision.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like I said, Oliva was a really good example. They want to work with media, and we've gone there and we worked some connections to get to the people we needed to get to, and they even recognize they now do have a media person, by the way, which is good. But I mean, we had to work those. We worked through our reps and things like that to kind of get help, and in most of these cases, we had really good experiences. Ashton is another one. We built that one through our rep as well, and Ashton's like, hey, come day 3. Day 3, I'm available for you guys whenever you guys want. And we went day 3, and it's worked out well for us the last 3 years. So,
right.
Yeah.
I can tell you 2 things. Like from looking at, I'm a big believer, big proponent in kind of looking at the data and trying to get better every single year at this sort of thing. Just as a business owner, right? So for me, there's 2 things that occur. Number one, there are times where you can be sitting on your ass for 30 minutes doing nothing, right? And then all of a sudden it's open the floodgates. You have 4 retailers sitting in front of you, and then a media guy pops by, right? And it's just like, son of a bitch, So I've seen some of the other guys that are really good at this. And what I have done this year is I actually have people around me to try and navigate through the orders. And so that I'm always available for media this year, no matter what. And I'm hoping that it works out and it pays dividends. So we'll see what that looks like. And, because and I also try to set appointments, right? To say, hey, I want to designate a specific time for you to come in so we can talk about things. I mean, Coop, it took you over a week to commit. Thank you for eventually committing.
We weren't doing any scheduling, Mike. That was the reason we had to see who was with the invites we had. If we start willy-nilly scheduling stuff, then we get conflicts, and we just wanted to make sure we didn't have conflicts. So that's why I warned you that it was going to take
Mike,
a couple weeks.
Mike, you're small fry.
I still am getting the invite. I still get the sign up for a meeting with Mike every day, so I still get those.
Yeah. Dude, this week I'm turning it up too. You're gonna get it's happening.
No, Mike, you gotta buy a sponsorship on cigarcoop.com first. I'm totally kidding. That's a total joke. I'm just
Mike's a great supporter of ours. I'll just say that, and he has been tremendous to us. He supports Bear and he supports Jukebox, and those are key brands for us, and we are grateful for that. Yeah,
I love those guys. Yeah, and you know what? You're right. I got to earmark Coop as well. I got developing pallets now. I got HBTC.
We have a good package deal. We'll talk to you.
There you go. Love it.
Yeah, because we're doing like Bear and I now are working a lot closer on packaging stuff. So yeah, we're trying to like make it worth it. Yeah.
So is there and I'm gonna start with Coop on this because this is really kind of more around sort of media buzz, quote unquote. But is there a brand in particular, Coop, that you think after the trade show is said and done and the dust settles, that you think is going to have the most buzz around sort of the cigar social media community?
It's still going to be Saka.
You think so?
Without question. The guy sold 1,800 Lanceros boxes. Like, that's what he told us the other night. I still think it's going to be Saka. There's just an appetite for him. He's got stuff too at the trade show. It's not like he's saying this is a weak year. He's still got more stuff than most people. So he talks to everyone in the media. He's going to get that attention. So he's going to get those impressions out there. I don't think he needs it, but he's going to get a big jump from that. So I think it's going to be Saka.
The real cheesesteak segment on primetime.
I like that. Mike Szczepankiewicz, sponsor of the real cheesesteak segment on primetime. That would be. I watch and listen already, but I would.
We can make that happen. We can make that happen.
Well, look, man. Yeah, Saka's good at marketing, dude. There's nobody that's close. There isn't.
He just, I mean, he's selling Lanceros and I can't believe there's people taking pre-orders for Lanceros.
Well,
Jay and Smoke In are taking pre-orders for Lanceros. I'm like, how does anyone else do that?
Let's not shortchange my boy Secreto, who just checked in, Mr. Ronnie, because he's
Ronnie.
So, hey, you know what? He's really good at marketing, man.
He is. That guy, absolutely.
So, and he's one of the guys, he's one of the dudes that I like. You try and listen and you learn and you try and adapt. The guy sits on the couch the entire fucking time and does nothing but take media interviews. Nothing.
It's a genius move.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And if you get him when he's grumpy, it's even better.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is. It is.
It is. It's better.
So on the flip side of that, oh no, we got plenty more. We got plenty more to go.
We're gonna need some more cigars over here.
I know. I got cigars. I just fired up.
I'm at your disposal, guys. So whatever you need.
I just fired up a Julius Caesar Toro, so I'll get more cigars for you guys.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that last question is, who do you think's, I don't know, I don't want to say in trouble, but is there a company that maybe you think they better have a good trade show this year, or more than other companies, quote unquote, need to have a good trade show? Oh, speaking of Saka, there's a Pulpetta. So Coop, who do you is there anybody you can think of that they probably need to have a good showing this year? They might be in a little bit of troubled areas.
I don't think they're in trouble per se, but I do think La Aurora needs to have a good trade show. They've set up this whole U.S. operation. They have a really nice booth. They have really good products, but they need to make that. They need to get back in retail stores here. And last year, it was their first. They just had set up the company. This year, I think they need to really make some steps with the products they're releasing. I will say they're much better organized this year, so we've been in good contact with them. But I'm assuming, in the end, it's going to come down to sales, right? And I think La Aurora, when they made that move a few years ago so they set the website direct to consumer, I think it's hurt them. So they need to kind of get back and kind of earn back the trust of the retailers. I don't think they're there yet, but I think they're a massive. They're a big operation. They're one of the oldest factory in the Dominican. they make a lot of cigars. So
Yeah.
I think they need to have I think they need to have it. But I don't think they're in trouble per se, but that U.S. operation has to take some steps forward this year.
Okay.
Huh. I will say this because we haven't given them a plug yet. When you smoke that Cro-Mag Pennsylvania, holy shit, dude. This thing is unfucking believable. It's unbelievable. It is the next level for Roma. I'm super excited for them. Like the Volstead was good. I like the Volstead. It's a great value cigar, but still Sumatra. And it's the best Sumatra that I saw that came out of the show. The Cro-Mag Pennsylvania is unbelievable. It taps so many different consumers. It's not just bold. It has a sweetness to it. It has all those levels of complexity. When it comes to market, and it's coming like within the next week or so, it's going to be a game changer, hands down. They released these timeline ones, these Billy Costos, and that one was good. I've smoked some of the other ones, and the other ones are even fucking better. So I can't wait to see the reaction from consumers about that particular cigar at PCA for sure, dude, for sure.
I've heard a lot of good things, preliminarily from people that I appreciate their palates, on social media that have said that, and yours included, Mike, that it's a really very good cigar.
Yeah.
So definitely, I mean, and it's exciting because, the Cro-Magnon being, that sort of that OG, of the Roma Craft family, of cigars, and having this new iteration, with the Pennsylvania wrapper and truly being a reimagined cigar, not just the same blend with a new wrapper on it, but being a reimagined new cigar.
Right.
It's exciting, especially for Roma fans. And I count myself among the Roma fans that, it's a cigar that you want to, first of all, you really want to try. And second of all, you really want to like. So, we have high hopes for it.
Here's why I love those guys so much, other than the fact that I just love them and they're great guys. They challenge things in the industry, man. Like when I said, hey, I want to make a Connecticut cigar, I wanted to make something different, and Half Wheel got it right. They said, hey, this is a great cigar. How about the cigar? Not so much. But Half Wheel confirmed.
Come on, bro.
And here we are again. Like the Volstead was a great entry to like, hey, this is a Sumatra wrapper. And whenever I think Sumatra, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be terrible. They reinvented it, and it was remarkable. And now, like the same with Pennsylvania broadleaf. I'm not normally a huge fan of Pennsylvania. And when I'm like, okay, here we go, sure, whatever. And I lit it up and I smoked it. I'm like, son of a bitch, man, this is absolutely amazing. So, are they the best at marketing when it comes to, some of the other brands and you see what, like what some of these guys do? No. Are they unrivaled with making cigars? Yeah, 100%. You guys, no one else is close to them, in my opinion. Sorry. It's just, they're just not. It's just, it is what it is. Go ahead.
And that Volstead was, number 3 on the how about that cigar list.
At least you got one right.
Our buddy Brett J, he called me while he was smoking one to make sure I got some. He said it's phenomenal, and he doesn't get worked up about too many cigars. But
and Brett is one of those guys that I really appreciate his opinion because he has an unvarnished opinion. Even brands that he's like a fanboy of, he will give you a no bullshit assessment.
100%.
If it's not a good cigar, Brett will say, yep, that's not good.
Yeah.
And Ronnie's the same way. And Mike, you're the same way. And Coop, you're the same way. I mean, we have learned over the years, you just got to be, you can love somebody as a person and love them as a company and the way they do business. But if they put out a bad cigar, they would actually, especially if they're a legit person, they're going to say, please just tell me the truth.
Right.
Put the review out there. And if it's not, just please tell me the truth and tell the consumers the truth of whatever your opinion might be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Instead of after, if you give somebody an 89, which by the way is a really good fucking score, but if you give somebody an 89 and they call you the next week and they're like, why didn't you give me a 94? It's like, because it didn't score that.
I haven't given a 94 in 5 years.
It's like it just didn't score that high. I'm sorry. I guess.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, man. And, I'm going to briefly give you my Saka soliloquy, about cigar. I struggled with a lot of the positivity, to be totally honest, man. I'm so comfortable with everybody always telling me that I'm not going to be able to do something. When I started my store, we opened up from a place that was vacant and went under. And so, people were like, oh, well, you're not going to make it. So, I take that and I use that as fuel, and then I said, hey, I'm going to build a website. This is 15 years ago when it wasn't common for smaller retailers to have a website. I'm like, well, you're not going to be able to compete with the big dogs. You're going to fail at that too. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, here we are. It's still working. Right. When I approached guys to make a store exclusive at the time, and that wasn't really that common, Jonathan Drew laughed at me. Said, ha, 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 when I wanted to make a specific undercurrent. I wish I had the text, dude. I was looking for it, but it was so long ago that I can't find it, right? But, then I made my own cigar with a better factory, right? And then I was told that wouldn't work either because I'm a retailer selling to other retailers. And here I am in my 10th year, and we continue to grow every single year. So, I've always taken that negativity, and when people have told me, hey, fuck you, you're not gonna be able to do it, and I'm like, bet, no problem. I'm gonna press forward, and I'm gonna prove you wrong. So this last year for me, when the Connecticut came out, it was great, extremely overwhelming. I never received so much reposts and people reaching out saying, hey man, this is amazing, and I can't believe it and stuff like that, and honest, it became too much. I didn't know how to process it. Right. So, and then it hit on half wheel. I'm like, this is awesome, man. This is fantastic. And I'm still struggling with it. And then when you snubbed it, you kind of brought me back to earth. Right. And I'm not shitting on you. I know I break your balls a lot.
When I snubbed it?
Well, how about the cigar passed on it? It kind of,
it's okay. Look, you go ahead and say your piece.
It just brought me back to reality. It brought me back to, hey, job's not done yet. You got more to do. You're on the right track, but you're not there yet. And, and I appreciate that, honestly, coming from you guys. So I'm going to continue to work my ass off, and I'm going to continue to do things that I think that aren't rivaled in the industry because I want to do those things. So, I appreciate you guys. I know that I break your balls, and I'm very grateful for you taking my ad that I gave to you and rolling with it, because a lot of the people are like, fuck that, I'm not doing this, but
why not? It's fun. Why it doesn't always have to be so stuffy. Let's have a good time.
Right.
But for the record, the cigar was not on our list because we didn't review the cigar, and that doesn't mean we're never going to review the cigar. But we will not put a cigar on the list that has not had a published review on our website.
Yeah, we're the same way.
So I will do a better job of making sure that you get the cigars to review.
And listen,
well, we have them. We just our schedules, us having day jobs and kids and families of our own, and we do the best we can, but we still love you.
Of course, man.
Mike, you're surrounded by champs this year. We'll be on that fucking list.
Thank you.
That cigar is fucking phenomenal.
That cigar, spoiler alert, when the review for that does get because that cigar will be a published review on howaboutthatcigar.com. And spoiler alert, the score is going to be high because that cigar, they've all the ones of the SBC that I've tried, I've really enjoyed. I didn't have the first one, but I've had all the ones since then, and this year's was ridiculously good.
Well, I hope Skip's not watching because he blended this year. So,
oh shit, we're gonna blow up his ego even more.
I told you.
But feel free to send us another 10 back.
Oh, hey, it's all about the free. It's all about the free samples. That's all we're in this for.
I'm just here for the samples, baby.
We already reviewed it.
I did.
Okay, last thing before we get to Numero de los Muertos. Will Davidoff ever come back to the PCA Trade Show? Coop, you go first.
Yes.
When do you think they will? Because I have a date in mind, and I'm curious if we agree on that.
2026.
Why?
Why do you think 2026?
I think it's time. I think it's time. I don't know if they'll get it done in 1 year, but I think there may be some things going on behind the scenes, maybe that may change that. You know, Avo's got that new collaboration coming out with DJ Nice, so I think there's some things going on with that, where they could certainly bring Avo and Camacho back to this trade show. So I think it's time. I think the other three are back. I think I don't know if there's any conversations. I don't have any privy to that knowledge. I'm not saying I know any, but I think it's time. I think it's time. I think they can adjust. I think the trade show's now early in the year. I think they could pivot and adjust their model for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, do you think they'll ever come back?
I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's the right image that you want to show. So I think that, it's inevitable to do it. I don't know Davidoff well enough to assume when they would do it. I think that Coop obviously knows better than me in that realm. They don't even come to the shop. So, they're not permitted. So, I think that it's good for the industry. So, bring it on for sure.
So Jay says 2025 or 26, right after they spend $16 million on Cigar Hustler.
Yeah.
Hashtag life goals.
Hashtag life goals.
I think
it's time.
I think it's going to be, so here's and it's a total guess. So
he went the other way.
This year's PCA Trade Show, Las Vegas Convention Center. Next year, New Orleans in April, and I believe that they haven't officially said, but I'm pretty sure New Orleans is going to be 2 years. So I think New Orleans is also going to be 2026. I think 2027 is going to be back in Las Vegas again, and I think it's going to be a long-term run in Las Vegas. And there's a lot of reasons, and we have the show's long enough already. There's a lot of reasons why I think it's going to be back in Las Vegas, and why I think it's going to be a long-term run back in Las Vegas. And yes, I think it's a good thing. But I think that's when Davidoff is going to come back, is in 2027. If they come back sooner, I'm all for it, because I think everybody should be at the trade show. And I know it's expensive, and I know whether you're setting up a booth for your brand or you're going there as a retailer to buy cigars, I know it's expensive, but I think everybody should go. And I think it's important for brands, brand recognition, relationships, sales, networking, all that stuff. I think it's important. I think everybody should go. But I think Davidoff may be when it comes back to Las Vegas, and there's a lot of logistical reasons why, but I think that's what's going to happen. So that's my take on it. Do you?
No, not now. Forget it.
None. Are you mad now because
No.
I snubbed you earlier?
No, it just
Don't
threw
be
me
mad.
off. I'm not mad.
Don't be mad.
Don't pelo pot. I am the kettle. Yeah, it's time.
Is it time?
It's time.
All right, guys, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
Honestly, agree with the goat to tell you about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month Club. Every month, I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Every month, there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. All delivered to your door for $34.95. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoking Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace.
All right, here we go. Numero de los Muertos, episode 238. We're following the trend that we've been doing for a while. Once again, the number is 1.
1.
I know. These are this very odd, weird, stupid cause of death for some moron out there in the world.
Oh,
but you guys, Coop and Mike, along with our viewers and Justin and Raul, get to just try to break this down. What was the cause of death for this one poor soul?
Annually.
Were animals involved?
Were animals involved?
A bear in Poland got eaten. A man in Poland got eaten by a bear.
Animals were not involved. A man in Poland got eaten by a bear. It was not that.
Is it U.S. related?
What was that, Mike?
Is it U.S. related?
This was in the United States, yes.
Slowly eaten by a manatee, David Floyd?
Is it medical? Is it
animals
medical?
were not involved. It was not medical.
Modern era?
Modern era, yes.
Is it land or sea?
Land.
Is it beaten to death by a cell phone?
No. Angelo, it was a man. Because men are stupid.
Drinking involved?
Drinking, it does not specify.
But possible.
It's usually, I mean, typically it's stuff this dumb. There's some kind of controlled substance involved.
Is it weather related?
It's not related to weather.
A controlled substance is involved.
No, a controlled substance is not involved that we're aware of.
One person dies by this annually in the U.S.
And it's not even one person dies annually by this in the U.S. It's just I have found one instance of this weird cause of death in history.
In history?
Yes.
Oh, God. Then it's modern era.
Modern era.
Is it doing an activity?
It was an activity. It was a recreational activity.
Does it involve walking?
No.
Is it indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Yeah.
And no, it was not a chair tied to balloons. It was not a helium overdose. Glue was not involved.
Vehicles?
Vehicles were not involved.
But is it a recreational game?
Not a game, no.
What about endorsing a check for $16 million?
Endorsing a check for $16 million, no. No, that does not.
Not dangerous. That's not dangerous.
Yeah, it's not dangerous.
Slips in the shower and had a plunger go down his throat.
Oh, Lord. Kelly,
what's up with you?
No.
It was outside.
Neurogel involved? I don't even want to know what neurogel is.
Okay. What about falling involved?
Falling was involved, but it was a very specific kind of fall under a very specific set of circumstances.
And then a plane part?
No, vehicles were not involved. It was not the falling of a part of an airplane.
So did the fall kill them?
The fall did not kill them.
Was it the sudden impact?
Circumstances related to things that happened after the fall killed this person.
So he bounced.
Yeah. Not exactly, no.
Okay. Is it a freak accident?
Yes, it was a freak accident.
So it's a freak accident. Okay.
Outside, no animals.
It was not tripping over furniture. This was outdoors.
Not falling out of a tree.
It was not impaled by Legos.
Not falling out of a tree.
No.
No ATV involved or anything like that?
No, they were not impaled.
No.
Modern era, was it before
1997?
Okay.
So that's pre Y2K. I mean, holy.
And was it an accident?
It was an accident, a freak accident. While engaging in a very commonly participated in recreational activity in many areas of the United States.
Was it bungee jumping?
It was not bungee jumping.
It wasn't falling out of a seat at a stadium or something like that.
Nope. It was not. It was not in a building. It was outdoors.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
Slips on a rock in the river and drowned?
No, but it was near water. I'll give you. There's a hint. It was near water.
near the ocean?
It was near the ocean.
Were they surfing?
They were not surfing. They were on land.
Did they fall off a pier?
Nope, they did not fall off a pier.
Was quicksand involved?
Quicksand was not involved, but
Sand was involved.
Sand was involved.
Falling out of a canoe on the sand.
Nope, they did not fall out of a canoe onto the sand.
Ooh, so were they buried?
Buried alive in sand.
Yes.
Yes.
So on August 7th, 1997, at a beach in Buxton, North Carolina, Daniel Jones decided to dig an 8-foot deep hole in the sand and sit in the bottom of the hole. Then the hole suddenly collapsed on him, trapping him underneath the sand. Several beachgoers attempted to dig him out, but it wasn't until heavy equipment was brought in that he was freed from the sand, by which time it was too late.
Wow. I feel like that recently happened.
Really sad because a girl.
An 8-foot deep hole. I mean, if you're gonna dig a hole on the beach, like, I mean, just deep enough to like bury one of your buddies that passed out drunk. Leave it at that. Just bury him and make the mermaid pose around him and leave his head above.
I got news for you, buddy.
What's that?
That recently happened here in Florida.
Shut up.
2 months. Yeah, a little girl died.
Oh, well, see, no, Numero de los Muertos is supposed to be quirky and funny. That's not cool, man.
Now we're at 2.
No, that's not cool. I don't like that. Little kids, yeah. I don't talk about that.
Like an 8-year-old girl.
Not cool.
Buried in
that's really sad. See?
Yeah.
Numero de los Muertos is like quirky and fun. This is
right. You didn't do your research.
Well, no. This was just one of those random websites that, I spend time on from, a couple times a week. This is North Carolina. This is Coop's neck of the woods.
That's still about 6-7 hours from me. So yeah.
Well, I suppose, the coast is a little far from me.
Yeah.
All right, that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, so it's time for the big reveal of the Spirit of Mystery, brought to you by Postania Cigars.
Hey.
Can you read that one again?
Read the whole? No, I'm not going to read the whole thing again, but it is brought to you by Postania Cigars, unranked by HBTC in 2023. All right, so I finished. This is a long show, so I already finished the glass of whiskey, and I'm now drinking some Tattersall Rye. But I will say this: when I was drinking that Japanese whiskey, that was the Spirit of Mystery tonight, it really does have those classic Japanese whiskey elements to it. It's super bright and citrusy, a little bit of vanilla, barely any oak at all to it, and just. This one had just a little bit of kind of a funkiness, almost a peatiness, but not really. It was more just kind of a general earthy grassiness. But it was it seemed a little higher proof than the others I had. But it was still a nice Japanese whiskey. If I had to guess at all, I would say there's Hibiki. They make a 12-year and they make an 8-year, I think, also sort of in general release.
Finally got one right.
Shut up.
Let's see it.
Oh my gosh, I got one right.
Show the screen.
That is okay. Here we go. There, Hibiki. There it is. Hibiki Suntory whiskey, Japanese Harmony.
There's only 86 proof.
86 proof, so a little bit higher than 80. Finally.
Is this just a way for you to build your bourbon collection and use it as a tax write-off?
It's actually my bourbon collection.
I have no comment on it's his, and he doesn't even drink. It's his whiskey collection. So yeah, he's sober and he has a bigger whiskey collection than most people
Right.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty awesome actually, because he brings me samples of whiskey every week and I get to try them on the show. It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
So that was the Spirit of Mystery for this week, brought to you by Postania Cigars. Now let's jump into the lightning round brought to you by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. We have I got too many phones on my desk. Seriously, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phones on my desk. I have a problem. And I almost grabbed the wrong phone. But we have some fresh, because you guys have been on the show before. You've done the lightning round questions, so we need some new stuff here. So Coop, I'm going to start with you on this one. What is the most outdated piece of technology that you actually use still on a regular basis?
Technology, it's got to be, right?
Yeah, or I'd say technology or something that's sort of phased out of most people's general usage.
I still use some old iPods for music.
Really?
Yeah. I still use them. They're great on the go to take.
Okay.
Yeah, they're great on the go.
What is it about those that just you get better experiences out of than just using your iPhone?
I don't have to worry about bandwidth. I could put my phone aside and just kind of focus on the music. And I don't take space up on it either. So I don't have to stream it. I don't take space up on it. And it just works. I have collections built on it and playlists that are built over the years that, they're fine on there. So
I like
why
that.
throw it out? I mean, until they stop charging, then that will be the point where they go. But I still use iPods. Yeah.
There is a theory that Bluetooth headphones are actually really bad for you, and the wired headphones are better.
Oh, really?
I hate AirPods. I absolutely hate them.
Yeah.
I'm not an AirPods fan myself.
I'm not a fan of them.
But I know a lot of people like them.
Yeah.
I like David's comment. They have a headphone jack. The iPods actually have a headphone jack.
I have plenty of headphones. Exactly.
Yeah.
I could still actually get it to work in the car too. I have to use a little adapter, but yeah.
Okay. That really makes a lot of sense because, if the cellular network goes down or whatever, you still got your music. You don't have to worry about somebody else's network.
Yep.
I like
now
that.
You know why I don't answer text messages.
It's because you are the most sought after man in the cigar industry, Coop.
Right.
That is why. Mike, what about you? What's an outdated piece or what some people would consider to be an outdated piece of technology that you still use a lot?
Man, I don't know. I think that the thing that's utilized the most in this house is the microwave. And that thing is that technology is so old.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we'd be dealing with Back to the Future hydrate level 1, please, and I'd have your pizza by now, but I would say that, I guess. Sorry, that was a bummer.
No, that microwave is not a bad answer. And it's honestly, I mean, my kids are older, but when you have little kids, the microwave is like constantly. That is totally true. It is constantly running.
Yeah.
Chicken
nuggets, baby, all day.
All right, so Coop, going back to you for the second question, if you were going to be interviewed on one of the big time celebrity talk shows, which celebrity talk show would you most want to be? Like, which celebrity talk show host would you most like to have a conversation with?
I'm going to go right for the top. I'm going Howard. I'm going Howard Stern.
Oh yeah.
I'm going with Howard. I'm bring it on, Howard. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I love that answer, and he's because he's in his as he's kind of getting older, and he's really a conversationalist now, where he's gotten away from all the shock jock stuff of the 80s and 90s.
He'll still pull things out of interviews with people that I don't see anyone else pull out of it. Yeah. So he will don't get me wrong, he still will go a little bit in that direction. But yeah, I mean, think about it now. When the Howard Stern interview, these Howard Stern interviews are becoming really the ultimate interview for a lot of these people now. They interviewed Howard, so I'm going to go Howard. Yeah, Howard Stern.
I love that.
The best Howard Stern skit was when he called the airlines to say how much did it take to just get to the Hudson. I mean, that was fantastic. No, I just want to go to the Hudson River because that was when the plane landed there.
The best by far was the Richard Simmons stuff. I mean, what he would do to Richard Simmons was never duplicated.
Yeah.
There's YouTube stuff, all the archives over 30 years of him torturing Richard Simmons.
Yeah. And all these things that you literally can't, nobody could ever do on the radio again.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So Mike, if you were going to be interviewed on by one of the big celebrity show hosts, who would you want to be interviewed by?
I'd go Jimmy Fallon, man.
Oh yeah.
How's it going?
Short interview. We'd play games. It'd be fun.
Yes, he is good with the games. They've done a good job at kind of sort of, it's almost like family game night in the studio there.
Entertaining. So yeah, Fallon.
I like it. All right, Raul, this one I'm especially excited to hear answers from these guys.
Mike, this is for you. We'll start out with you. The most overrated and underrated fast food place out there. I know you work out 20 hours a day, but give me your answer here, bud.
Most overrated. As far as underrated, there's a place called Backyard Burger.
Oh, that place is awesome. We used to have them in Charlotte.
Yeah, there's one right up the street.
It's the only one in Florida.
It's the only one in Florida, and it's amazing.
So they must just be like in the southeast?
Yeah, and it's killer. It's killer.
Backyard Burger. Okay, that's got to be on
they
the
were.
list,
We
then.
used to have. I miss those. We had them in Charlotte when I first moved here.
There's one here.
They're in Tennessee. That's where they are. You can find them in Tennessee still.
As far as overrated is concerned, I fucking can't stand the argument of Whataburger and the other places.
In-N-Out.
Yeah, In-N-Out between the Battle of all. Those both suck. They're terrible. I've tried. I'm like, give me a break, dude. They're not even contestants in the burger world as far as I'm concerned. I remember Skip. We went to one in Texas, and I'm like, this is it. This is what the hype is about. So much disappointment. So those are definitely overrated. The burgers are terrible. The fries suck. I said what I said.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Tell it like it is.
Coop, same question for you, brother. The most overrated and underrated fast food place.
The overrated, I think, is Cane's right now. I just don't get it. I don't get the whole Cane's thing.
That's like blasphemy.
It's just chicken strips. I mean, it's good.
It's chicken strips. I mean, what is so great about what is so great about these chicken strips?
I've never had it. My kids.
Yeah.
I know when they first came to Minnesota, my kids were excited to try it.
Yeah.
And there was I think I was at a cigar event one night, so my wife and kids went there, and they didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is when they were a little younger. These kids love. I mean, if you go to a restaurant, what are the kids going to order? They're going to order chicken strip.
Right.
And they just didn't like it.
They're good. I don't think it's worth the value though that they, I mean, it's chicken strips and fries and Texas style. So I mean, it's not bad, but
I just rather. Yeah. I mean, again, I can't speak to it because I haven't had it, but I mean, give me Popeyes or
the Lord's Chicken, Chick-fil-A.
Oh, there you go.
Chick-fil-A is good.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is good.
Not on Sundays. Not on Sundays.
I think Popeyes is really good, but yeah.
And what about underrated?
Underrated it's a little more regional here, but it is a fast food place because it's in the vibe you guys were just talking about. It's Bojangles by far.
Oh, we have those here.
Bojangles.
Yeah, I mean the fried chicken, the biscuits are.
Yeah, we haven't had it.
The chicken sandwiches are great.
Yeah, I honestly, and those biscuits are. They have the chicken fried steak biscuits. They have the pork chop biscuits. Sometimes, really, the biscuits are just great on their own. I'm going Bojangles with that.
I agree. That's a good one, Coop.
I don't agree with you on the other one, but I can't wait.
Canes is just chicken strips. It's just like,
Wonderful chicken strips.
I mean, I don't want, the other underrated one maybe is Wiener Schnitzel. I went there in Vegas last year.
So many jokes right now.
the jokes write themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But I don't go to Wiener Schnitzel all the time because it's a West Coast thing. So Bojangles is something I go to. Yeah.
Well, I think
the zombie.
you guys have both had the zombie apocalypse questions. So let me, because I got this long list. All right, so
Wiener Schnitzel.
See, that's gonna keep Raul happy. Like, just that's gonna keep him going the rest of the night. All right, Mike, start with you on this one. If you had the power of teleportation, where would you go right now?
Now,
you could say your bed if you want. That's a perfectly acceptable answer.
No. Where would I go right now?
And you could let's say teleportation, like you hold hands with your family and you can all go right now, or just you. It's up to you.
I would want to bring my family. My wife would say the beach. She's chiming in that. You know what? Where I would want to go, honestly, would be Japan. I would love to.
Oh, nice.
This is just like it's always kind of been a thing for me, but it's always been like it's popped up at small periods in my life. And now Shogun just started again. I don't know if anybody watches that.
Yes.
But I read the book when I was a kid. I watched the show when I was a kid. So all that shit fascinates me, and like the culture and everything about that. I'm totally down. So I would say, hey, let's just go and let's go learn about that whole society.
Yeah.
God, I love when I was a kid, and honestly, looking back on it, my parents probably should not have let me watch it because I was so little. But that miniseries with Richard Chamberlain in like the 70s, my parents should not have let me watch that. But God, fuck, that was a good show.
Amazing, dude. If you got to watch the new stuff. It's the same story. It's just modernized. So, it's pretty fascinating, dude, just to learn about the history of things, and like there's a lot of legitimacy behind it. So it's pretty remarkable, dude. It's pretty remarkable.
Nice.
They're a hell of a culture, man.
Yeah. You like that lead actor in that?
Yeah.
He's got a little more grit than the original one, doesn't he?
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of I love this guy. Tom Hardy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's probably good then. I think Tom Hardy's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so Coop, if you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you go?
Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Oh,
It's a southern hemisphere city. It's a big city. I'm kind of really interested in it. You got the whole Pamplona thing out there in the plains. I really would like to experience that one day.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
Just you or the family?
I'd take the family. I don't know if they'd all want to go.
So this is a new one.
Brand new.
What about you? Where would you
go?
Lightning round.
All right, the family and all of us. The south of France, like the Mediterranean coast of France.
Unbelievable there.
I've never been. I've never been to Europe. But yeah. So all the pictures I've seen, all the people I know that have traveled there, somewhere on the Mediterranean coast of France.
Yeah.
What about you, Justy?
For me, I'd probably go somewhere like Bali or Indonesia or Thailand, somewhere I could surf and do other things. So yeah.
Not Matt's garage.
Not Matt's garage.
Not my garage.
I'm picking Morocco.
Morocco. Oh man, great choice. Great choice. The food. Come on.
Just something I want to go. I've always wanted to go there.
Absolutely. All right. So that was a lightning round. Let's jump into this week's Notable Smokable, brought to us by Don Doroteo Cigars, a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they're able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo Retail Partners. Please visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right. So, notable smokables. You guys know how this works. So, Mike, something you smoked recently that really stood out to you. Any brand, any time, anywhere. What stood out to you recently?
I mean, I already mentioned it, unfortunately. Forgot about the segment, but it's definitely that Cro-Mag.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is fucking unbelievable, man. It really is. So when they come out, get your hands on them, dude. They, super impressed with that blend for sure.
Nice. Coop, what's something that's notable to you recently?
Yeah, I got one of these back from Pro Cigar, and apparently it's getting re-released this year. So we got a chance to smoke it. It's the Davidoff Maduro.
That's getting re-released.
It's being re-released. That's what they told us.
Nice.
That's why it was in the sampling. It was really good. I mean, they do a nice Maduro. I haven't smoked a Davidoff Maduro probably in about 10 years, but it was really good. It wasn't a heavy, full Maduro, but it was very flavorful. It was a larger ring. I want to say it was like a 56. I don't remember what the size was exactly, but it was a thicker ring, but really good. Okay.
Very nice. Justin, what's notable for you this week?
I'm going to go with last week's. Was it the EP Carrillo Encore Black?
Oh, the Encore Black. Yeah.
I want to try another one of those.
Yeah.
I did smoke that too recently. And I bought a box of them.
Yeah. Nice cigar.
Yeah.
Very nice cigar.
Yeah. The first one I had, the drawer was a little loose, but the second one was fine, and the third one was good. So I ended up buying a box. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I like that cigar.
I am going to go with another Roma Craft.
Oh, okay.
Black Irish.
Oh, you had one.
I had one yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So good.
Nice.
They're so good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So my notable this week is, honestly, it's a cigar I don't think I've smoked in 4 or 5 years. And, going through the drawers in the humidor, I was like, holy shit, I still have one of these, 1502 Emerald in the torpedo size.
Great cigar.
And, my gosh. I mean, we were talking about the Lancero in a lot of the 1502 stuff. Yep. So a few days ago, I saw that and said, yep, I'm definitely smoking this, man. And it's got age on it. So that, definitely doesn't hurt, but man, that cigar was really nice. So that was my notable this. And yes, 1502, Miguel, Global Premium Cigars, definitely still around.
Yeah, definitely. They're at the show this year. They'll be at the show this year.
They'll be at the show, and we'll definitely, talk to them while we're there. And definitely still putting out some good products.
Yep.
All right. So coming attractions brought to us by Hoagland Insurance. They are excited to serve and educate any new customers and give existing customers a refresher. Whether it's a business policy, auto insurance, home policy, or life insurance, if you're currently insured or just looking for a quote, Tony Hoagland and his team would love to create a personal price plan just for you. Mention how about that cigar when you make your first appointment, and Tony will have a free cigar just for you. For more information, please call 763-421-4900 or visit ChamplinInsurance.com. All right, coming attractions.
Man, I did not see that one coming.
You didn't see that coming? An insurance company?
Wow.
That's one of the best ads. I got to give free cigar. You get a free cigar. Just go back. Yeah.
Outside the box.
And it happens to be a Roma Craft Volstead.
Is that that's the free cigar? There you go, a Roma Craft Volstead. I mean, come on.
Boy, Tony.
Come on. So next week, Monday night, which will be the 20 something. I don't even know at this point. Next Monday night, we will not have a show because we will be at the PCA Trade Show covering all the wonderful things going on there. So be sure to keep posted to our social media and things like that so you can see what we have going on. But then on April 1st, we are going to have a very fun sort of unpacking of the PCA Trade Show. So we have an After the Storm recap. This is the column before the storm. On April 1st, we have the After the Storm recap, and that show is going to be with Matt Tobacco from SmokingTobacco.com and Randy Griggs from Cigar Dojo and the Flavor Odyssey show on CigarDojo.com and the Dojoverse. So
you got your hands full.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun show for sure. Coop and Mike, let's start with you. If you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea where's the best place for them to keep up with everything you have going on.
Oh, well, as far as podcasts, it's Cigar Hustlers podcast at Cigar Hustlers Instagram, cigarhustler.com is a retail store, and then Postani Cigars, the big one, online, Postani Cigars. So Facebook, all of it.
All right. Thank you for that. And Coop, if you would please let everybody know where they can keep up with what you have going on, and if you have anything special coming up aside from your fantastic PCA Trade Show coverage.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you can go to cigar-coop.com. That will take you to what we're now calling, the written content is now called Cigar Coop the magazine. That's what we gave it the name. The podcast, so you can catch up all on that. You probably saw that we've added the Let's Get Pairing podcast in earlier this year. That's our pairing show with Trip and Dennis. All that content's going to be now accessible on Coop. We're still kind of working on that piece right now. This week, PCA coverage, but we have two big articles coming out. On Thursday, the team will give our top 5 picks of the show for cigars.
Okay.
So the whole team will go through that. Everyone picks a top 5, and we don't really. Everyone can just do what they want to do with that. And then on Friday, this one's just a Coop exercise because it's a longer article. I pick what's going to be that one company that's going to have the big trade show this year.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
I've been doing that every year since 2018. So yeah, that will be that one on Friday. So those are the ones you'll want to stay tuned on that.
I love it.
Coop, how many times have you been right?
I think most of them I've been right. In previous years, it used to be who was throwing the most products out there. Now it's not so much that just because things have changed. And now I'm trying to look at who may make a splash, who may be just doing something out of the box. So I have not finalized who that company. I have not finalized the company, and every year I've always had it finalized the week beforehand. I don't have it finalized this year. There's a lot of moving parts because some companies have not announced their stuff yet.
Yeah.
So
understood.
So yeah, I have to make the call Wednesday. The article gets written, so at that point it's over. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, guys, I gotta say I really appreciate your time. I know this was a long show, but we had a lot to talk about tonight, and there were so many great thoughts that you guys shared with us, and we appreciate your perspectives and learning from you guys. So thank you so much for giving us your time this evening, both of you.
Thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Always fun doing with you guys.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. For our viewers and listeners, guys, thank you for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We're so grateful to you for watching live on Facebook and YouTube and all the other places. Take just a minute, if you would, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. That means so much to us, so you won't miss anything we have going on, especially if you click on that notification bell. If you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for making us part of that. Take a minute to subscribe on your favorite audio podcast platform so you never miss an episode. If you have questions for any of us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, as always, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.